You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a damn if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move, I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna fucking do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions, they blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen, that shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're dreaming.
Make it. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Are you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Are you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Fight back. You ain't never ever gonna break it. You can never beat them and they're better than you face it. Thinking that they give a damn, you're not thinking straight, kid. No, they don't give a damn, you got what I'm saying? I'm not fucking playing, I'll give it to you straight, man. There's too many others and you're not that great, man. Stop what you're saying, stop what you're making. Everybody here knows that you just faking. Nah, I don't wanna hear it anymore, I don't wanna hear it anymore. All these fucking thoughts, they are not what I need anymore. I'm about to shut the motherfucking door on all you poor ass haters with your heads in the clouds, talking out loud so proud. You better shut your goddamn mouth before I do more speak out. It's about to head south. You're never gonna make it. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Are you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Are you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Fight back.
I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Stroke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if
if I can just think carefully, I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
I hope this works, but hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick with some technical difficulties here, as usual. Um, it's another Monday. Goodness gracious. Well, at least we had some good news today. We had a nice visit from Trump to Israel and over to the Middle East and Egypt. Um, I guess a lot of the survivors, um, hostages, or whoever you want to call them, got released today, which is a great thing. Um, a lot of the dead have not been returned yet, but that's going to be pretty hard to, find those dead people and bring them back. And they're going to test the bones. They're going to test to make sure if that's the person. I don't think they're ever going to find them, to be honest with you. But like I said, some technical difficulties here, but trying to work through it as usual. Let's see here. Let's check out this news real quick. If I could get it set up.
All right, welcome back and alive now. I'm Austin Westfall. Earlier in the day, some of you may have been asleep. It was so early in the morning, U.S. time. But this was one of the events of the day. We know President Trump making a swing through the Middle East. He stopped in Egypt. He stopped in Israel. In Israel, he addressed the Knesset. He met with Benjamin Netanyahu. He ultimately ended up only making a short, few hours long trip on the ground there in Tel Aviv before he flew over to Egypt, where we saw this Middle East Peace Summit. Not only President Trump was there, but as you can see from the footage on your screen, world leaders from all over the globe meeting here. This was a high-profile meeting. Standing by right now is Dr. Alon Burstein. Alon, huge day. I know you were probably, like me, following just about every update possible out of both Israel and Egypt today. Let's start in Egypt. Did you make any observations about who was in Egypt and who wasn't?
It's good to see you, Austin. And yes, the peace conference in Egypt is really, such a big story. There's so much to talk about, but really one of the glaring things is the participants. This conference was organized by the United States and Egypt, and they issued the invitations. The series of people there make it one of the biggest and most noteworthy peace conferences about the Middle East. Anyone from the UN Secretary General, the leaders of virtually every Middle East country, from Jordan to Kuwait to Qatar, representatives from Saudi Arabia, looking at representatives from Iraq. They're also the leadership from Europe. We had the prime ministers of the United Kingdom, Italy, representatives from Greece, France. Everyone was there. Glaringly not there were the actual sides fighting in the war, Israel and Hamas. The conference organizers did invite Palestinian Authority Chairman Mahmoud Abbas. They also issued an invitation to Iran, who did not participate, but they issued an invitation to Iran to participate. Israel and Hamas not invited. Now, Hamas, understandably, they theoretically are supposed to now be sidelined. The Palestinian Authority is supposed to be the Palestinian representative. But the fact that Israel was not invited has really made a lot of headlines. It's part of seemingly the ongoing trajectory. The United States has decided it is going to bring a deal with the Arab world and help give Israel a final fact. Throughout the day, I'll just say, when Trump arrived in Israel, he did organize a phone call between Netanyahu and President Sisi of Egypt. Israel was invited at the very last minute. Netanyahu initially said yes, then surprisingly said no, actually pulled back. There's all kinds of speculation. The three leading explanations are, number one, that Netanyahu was afraid that he would be forced to shake hands with the Palestinian Authority chairman and didn't want to do that. A second explanation, that he was afraid of coalition mix-up and that his coalition partners would be angry. The biggest and most likely explanation, the president of Turkey, Erdogan, who's one of the most distinguished people who signed on the document, threatened, if Netanyahu comes, I don't come. There's even a report that his plane turned around in the middle, and then it was announced that Netanyahu would not come. So all that happening in this conference to end the war.
You know, we've been, over the past 2 years alone, you and I have had endless conversations about this war. And as we've looked at this live vantage point, we've seen blast after blast, week after week, quiet now, completely quiet. And today we, of course, saw the exchange of 20 living Israeli hostages coming out of Gaza, the Red Cross, transporting them in these vans. And we do know also, by the way, yeah, there's those familiar Red Cross trucks that we've seen not only during this hostage release, but previous hostage releases as well. It's usually the International Red Cross that gets the stuff done. We also have footage of the Palestinian prisoners themselves getting off of the bus in the West Bank. We saw this earlier today. Let's move to Gaza, though. The time right now in the enclave, Israel Standard Time, 12:45 in the morning, just about. Alone, the IDF has moved back to its initial withdrawal line, if you'll call it that. The Trump plan had this yellow line on it. That's where the IDF has moved back to. What have you been observing in the area that the IDF has withdrawn from in recent hours?
So one of the big questions as to what is going to happen next has been, how is are the following steps in Trump's plan supposed to be implemented? The plan started with the hostage exchange, and we had 25 hostages released, and the return of nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners that were released. But then the plan talks about the complete disarming, demilitarization of the Gaza Strip. It talks about the establishment of a technocratic government that Hamas has no part in, and also the gradual development of an international force that will take responsibility from the Israeli Defense Forces, the Israeli military. There's no explanation of how this is supposed to happen. And that's one of the things that is raising a lot of concerns with analysts, that few people have asked your question. But what's happening in Gaza meanwhile? Because the Israeli military has pulled back, it now controls 58% of the territory. Hamas has not disappeared. We now are on, between 2 to 3 days of the ceasefire has been declared. During that time, Hamas has deployed 7,000 armed officers throughout the Gaza Strip. They are starting to reassert their control in the Strip, and also to hunt down and punish who they consider to be collaborators with Israel. They've also
This
appointed
never-ending
5 new
battle.
governors to administer the institutions in the Gaza Strip.
Never
And at the
ending.
same time, they also yesterday announced to merchants in Gaza that they're going to reestablish the collection of taxes within a couple of days. So Hamas has not lost its military capability despite 2 years of fighting, and is starting to reestablish its economic infrastructure also.
That's crazy.
How is this supposed to then lead to Hamas disarming
Exactly.
and demilitarization? There's no fighting between the sides right now. Everyone's focused on that fact, and understandably, and the hostages are coming back. Everyone's focused on that, understandably. But there's a lot of concerns among those of us who are still looking at Gaza saying, okay, but
Now
what
what?
happens next? There's a ceasefire right now, but we're not seeing a defeated Hamas waiting for the implementation of this plan. We're seeing Hamas rebuilding itself on the ground. That's raising a lot of concerns.
You know, one facet of this exchange, if you will, obviously 20 living Israeli hostages were swapped for just over 1,900 Palestinian prisoners, but there were also the bodies of hostages as well. Jennifer Griffin, Fox News correspondent, reporting this. Hamas has handed over 4 deceased hostages. 24 remain in Gaza. What are the implications of those 24 remaining in Gaza alone?
I don't know.
So that's another side that really went under the radar today. And I'll say again, understandably to some extent. But what we have here is, first of all, a gross violation of the agreement. Trump's agreement says that all hostages, living and dead,
Yeah, how you get make it the dead?
phase, so that was supposed to be today, in exchange for a set amount of Palestinian prisoners and
How are you gonna
bodies of
bring the
Palestinians
dead?
that are held by Israel. Now, there was no doubt that not all the remains of hostages were going to be returned. Hamas had said it in advance that it is not sure where the remains of between 8 and 10 hostages are. So theoretically, the most that could have been returned would have been 18 to 20 bodies of hostages that Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, were supposed to return, and that was supposed to be all
Now
this
they're
one
gonna
phase.
pick for
Then all of a
tat.
sudden
Oh,
today,
you didn't bring back
the
his
entire world
bone
is focused
steamer.
on the live hostages
We
coming
want
back
the steamer
and
back.
the political processes that are occurring. All of a sudden, Hamas announces we are only returning
For the
4
asteroids,
bodies
man.
today.
They're coming.
Big uproar in Israel, but this, despite it being a gross violation, has not led to the collapse of the deal. There is no backup mechanism. So what happens next? Is Hamas going to release these in stages? Are they just going to hold on to them and say we now want to renegotiate? We don't know. There was a mechanism put in place and what was signed between the sides to locate the remains of other hostages. There's a mechanism, a joint committee is supposed to be established. It'll include the United States, Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, and also Israel to try to figure out where the hostages that they don't know where their bodies are located. But Hamas never claimed that they don't know where these 24 are located. They said they don't know where 8 or 10 are located. So
How about if they're
holding on
cremated? How are you
at
gonna find
least
them? You're gonna get
14
their
bodies.
ashes? You can't
And
tell
right now,
what.
there's literally no talk about it. No one knows, is this now going to be negotiated again? Are they going to hand them over in stages, or are they holding them on and are going to say, we now demand to renegotiate? Again, it's part of that thing that no one's looking at what's happening in Gaza meanwhile. Everyone's looking at the big picture. And understandably, everyone's focusing on these big events, but it seems like the story's not over. I saw you raising eyebrows. I'm pretty sure that was a bird that we saw.
I just
flying
wanted to
across
be
the screen.
sure. That was interesting.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I have my phone here, and if it was a rocket, it could have been a rocket that was fired, but chances are we would have seen alarm bells going off. I'll update you if there's anything with that.
Yeah, I know. I
That was a
noticed
bird. I
that
also
too.
caught
Let me
that
see if I
going
can go
across the
back
screen there.
and see that.
They're
Hold
trying to
on.
locate it. So they're still holding on to at least 14 bodies. And right now, there's literally no talk about it. No one knows, is this now going to be...
Okay, we don't need to re-listen to that, but I wanted to see what was that flew by. Possibly a bird. Was it a missile? No, it's probably a bird. I'll try to pause it. Yeah, it was just like a bird or something that came through the picture. Like right there, you saw it. Maybe aliens. Maybe let's go slow-mo. Let's see what the hell that was. You know how I like to go slow-mo. Let's go slow-mo here. Let's go ahead and hit play. We're going to see something fly in the air and leave like a trail behind it. Right here. Yeah, it looks like it could be a bird. and that's the way the images pick it up. It definitely was a bird. They were getting scared. Already. Oh my god, this is her flying again. Ah. Listen, there's never going to be peace in that area. They can sign as many paperwork as they want. They can pretend all they want. That they've always been at war, always, and will continue to be at war. I mean, this goes on biblical times. These wars have been going on. So to me, that's just an ongoing, never-ending story. You know how you get all these infinity parts? The never-ending story too. How about part 3? How about a prequel? How about a prequel to the prequel? Like, are you kidding me? Oh Lord. It is what it is. And let's continue on with some more news. Let me set this up. Got a lot of news going on, you know? So, but I don't have much open, and I'm not going to be here all night. I'm trying to keep it probably 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half, just because my neck and my back really freaking hurts tonight. And I saw the chiropractor today, and he did a good job. Not gonna lie about that. But my nerves are going crazy. My neck is hurting. My back, my legs are acting weird. I have like this weird tremor I'm feeling inside of me. Um, my chiropractor, he's just like trying to get me better, but it's like my nerves are not cooperating with me. Tomorrow, it's like I'm torturing myself. This like end of this year, 2025, is going to be one painful ending for me, at least, because tomorrow I'll be seeing the physical therapist, which that's torture as it is, and I'm not doing myself. I mean, I'm doing myself help, you know, because I'm seeking the help that I need to figure out what the fuck is going on with my neck. But the thing is, I got to do this twice a week on both of them. So the chiropractor, I get to see them twice a week, and the physical therapist, I got to see twice a week. And that's Monday through Friday. So the only day I have off is Wednesday. So I have, like, today was the chiropractor, tomorrow's the physical therapy, Thursday is the chiropractor, Friday is the physical therapy. And I'm gonna give this one big last push to try to see if I can get my neck to some kind of standard. I know it's not gonna work. I know I'm gonna have to see the surgeon. I'm seeing the surgeon on the 20th, and we got to come up with some kind of plan to what the fuck we're gonna do, because my neck is just driving me crazy. I want to say my C6, C7 is just driving me crazy, and those two are fused. My I'm fused at 5, 6, 6, 7. But the 6, 7 is driving me. Something's going on with the nerves around the 6 and the 7. So it could be the 6 compressing on the 7 and it's causing the 7 to go a little crazy and have weirdness happening in my body, especially on the left side of my body. So it's just a wild roller coaster that I'm going through with my neck, and I'm gonna try to do this for as long as I can. You know, everything is not guaranteed in life, or you know, in any show. There's always going to be an ending to everything. But I'm going to do my best to try to keep it going to the end of the year. Even if I have surgery, that it will slow me down. That's a guarantee. It will slow me down. I won't give up, but man, it's going to be one hell of a fucking battle. And that sucks. And it's not G.I. Joe. No. This is knowing is half the battle, but the physical part is the other part of the battle, and that one I'm losing. But the knowing, I got that down packed. Because the more you know, the easier it gets for you. And let's go ahead and check out what's going on. Oh, this fucking oyster. All right, let's check out this story here. This fucking nor'easter is driving me crazy. It's been raining here a lot, and it's very windy.
From Fox Weather, posting this to X saying deadly nor'easter. The nor'easter blasting the East Coast has led to one death in Brooklyn after winds blew a solar panel off a carport, hitting a pedestrian 20 feet away. I do want to head out to Fox Weather's Jane Menard. She is live in Ocean City, New Jersey, joining us live right now to bring us the latest. Jane, thank you so much for being here with us. What's it looking like out there?
Yeah, Christy, we have just reached high tide in Ocean City, New Jersey, and right now we're in moderate flood stage. This was supposed to be the highest high tide event of this. Of course, yesterday, moderate flood stage reached with about 1.5 to 2 feet of standing water in low-lying areas, especially on the Back Bay. Ocean City, New Jersey, it's a barrier island off the Jersey coastline. And so once you get closer to the beach, there's a little bit more elevation. But as you fall back west towards the bay, the inlet, that's where we see the elevation up. And of course, you start to see the water bubble up through the growths, back up through the and you stand water like what I'm standing in, right? The perfect example of what we say when we mean coastal flooding. It's not always what's happening on the beach. You got to watch what's happening in these back streets. But this is really dangerous because
that's why they're on
streets have a
stilts.
natural slope.
A lot of homes are on stilts or elevated.
It might look deceiving to the eye, but this is very deep water. I mean, this is easily about a foot deep, and as you get into a couple of spots closer to the curb here,
it is not reaching up to the house.
On this business, up to the first step going into the business.
Yeah, but you go around, it's dry.
You know, this can certainly create some damage. We talk about folks who drive
it's not damage.
Like this.
You're
creates
funny.
A wake, almost like a wave that then splashes up into these businesses.
All right, I gotta pause this. This lady's he's stupid. Oh no. Rick is gonna rank on her. Yes, I am. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the interruption. When you see something stupid, you call it for what it is. Fucking stupid. Oh no. What is going on? Okay. She's making it seem like it's super deep. Oh my god, it's so deep. Oh, I can't. The house is gonna float out. I got a ruler right here. 12 inches is a foot. Okay? Let's go ahead and zoom in. This is a foot, and this is my face. Okay? So it's about my size of my face. Okay? Let's put it here. So it's about the size of my face. How deep is that water? You think anybody is gonna go crazy and like, oh my god, it's a whole foot of water, and then she's like in the deepest part of the little pond, like the little puddle, I will call it. It's a puddle of water. I hate these weather reporters when they do that. I mean, come on, that's so lame. That is so lame. I used to see this a lot. And I continue to see it today with these rookie reporters. They're trying to make like something like out of nothing. They're like, "Oh my god, it's so deep! It's almost to the first step. Look!" And then you go around, it's dry. There's nothing to worry about. Look, that's it. Let me get off the 5 here because this is crazy. Okay, look where she's standing, right? But then if you look behind her, back here, it's dry. This is all dry here. This is all dry. This is not even reaching the first step because she's lying right there. She's like, oh my god, it's reaching the first step. No, it's not, because the first step is up here. So no, it did not reach the first step. Second, this is a sidewalk. This is all sidewalk right here. And where she's at, she's in the pretty much on the street. Okay. 9 out of 10, the storm drain it's pretty much covered with debris or with bullshit in front of it. I know, even my phone is telling me I'm right. Give me 1 second. Let me silence this. Silence. Okay. But there's nothing. Look at. Like this is all dry back here. All and this is grass, okay? Because this is a driveway because it has like the to drive up here, but this is all grass and there's no water. There's no water here. There's not even water here. The only water is like right at the bottom, and that's on the sidewalk. She's in the middle of the street. Why is she in the middle of the street? There's probably a storm drain that's probably clogged up, and all she needs to do is just clear out that storm drain, and the water will recede. Like this is crazy, man. Come on. All right, let's keep it moving. We'll finish up the story. I got like 1, 2, 3, 4 more for tonight. Unless anything else breaks, I'm calling it a night because I want to get to bed early tonight. I got early morning physical therapy. We're talking about I got to be there at 7:15 in the morning. So yeah, not fun. I'm not looking forward to it. And let's listen to her. But this was a stupid setup.
Homes, and that too can create a lot of water damage. And so the message has been, please stay off the roads. So with this being the highest high tide of this cycle when it comes to our nor'easter, some good news to report. It doesn't look like we're going to reach major flood stage here. Now,
girl, you're in the middle of the street.
Our eyes on one tidal
look at the car.
It doesn't mean that we're not in major flood.
Listen, look at the car. Like up here, that's dry back here. All this is dry. This is probably just an area that's just flooded because the drain, they need to clear out the drain and that way it could drain out. But there's nothing wrong with this area. There's literally, she's in the middle of the street. It's not deep at all. It's about maybe half a foot, 6 inches, maybe 8 inches deep. She's trying to make it a foot. There's no way. This lady is very small in stature. I mean, she's probably like 4 something. But other than that, like this is dry. This is nothing, man. This is a big nothing burger.
A couple more tidal gauges down the island.
I'd rather listen to her fast feed. You can see, look at back here.
Our worst tidal events here in Ocean City, New Jersey. We're just one behind Hurricane Aaron with those offshore. All that energy turned up one of the biggest tidal events we've had.
Get out of here.
Yet again, just 2 months later with this nor'easter. How long does this take to
look at the middle of the road. We just saw a freaking U-Haul that went across. There's nothing here. This is all dry. Are you kidding me? She's in a puddle. Is this what you call news reporting? Let me take my drugs. Oh, Lord. I don't know. I'm waiting for the asteroid. I know they're coming. I just know. I've been told this from a very long time ago. And any day now. This is crazy. Let's fast forward through this crazy lady. I cannot believe this. She's doing a report in the middle of a pond, just 6 inches of water, not even deep enough. Now, if it was up to her waist or up to her knees, maybe I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. But hold on, let me show you. Let me show you this bitch. This is nothing. This is nothing. I get this in my area all the time. This is just they need to clean out the gutter, the storm drain, and all this water will go away. And all this area, if it was so bad and so crazy, all this back here will be full of water, right? It's not. It's not even here is full of water. She's just in a puddle. That's all she's in. Oh, God, help me. Let's just listen to her fast, because...
I'll tell you, hours, right? So it takes a moment to come up, settle in. We saw this flooding start around 12:30. Peaks out now as we head through the 2 o'clock hour. But I'm telling you, we're not going to see any of these roads clear.
This is a puddle.
Safer until probably closer to 5, 6 o'clock tonight. And at that point, we can start to breathe a sigh of relief as the worst is behind us. Winds have started to die down, no longer under wind alerts.
I'm not listening to her normal.
About 20 miles an hour, sustained around 10 to 15. So big difference than what we saw yesterday with wind gusts upwards of 50.
She's a bullshitter.
So overall, a really impressive storm to see how it continues to spin off the coast of the Jersey Shore. For now, Christy, before I let you go, I know you just
Okay, let's listen in here because this one down here is a fucking idiot. Jane, I'm sorry. You're a fucking idiot.
Said it could take hours to see this water recede, but what are officials saying when it comes to next steps and where we go from here?
You know,
And you know
next steps
something?
really are just hunkering
And you
in.
know something? This is the invisible storm. Hold on, let me bring it back to me. This is what you call the invisible storm. Because it shows in radar like the rain, they show like the supposed swirl that's off of New Jersey and it's pushing these storms in. But then when you look at it in the infrared radar, there's nothing. There's nothing there. So explain that to me. How can there be nothing and then bring all this rain? And then it doesn't show up on infrared radar. That's a first for me. That is a first for me. That's crazy. All right, let's continue with this bullshit.
And then, of course, something that we're monitoring very closely. You look down the way here, about 4 blocks, you get to the coastline, and that is where we have very significant beach erosion. What's happening in
Oh,
the back streets, very
the
disruptive, yes.
beach
But what's
erosion back
worrisome
there. Look, she's trying to point out that all this back here is beach erosion. Where? I see nothing but dry roads. I see you standing in a puddle of water. Like not even 6 feet, not even 6 inches, not even 6 feet. 6 feet. Imagine 6 feet would be over her head. Then these houses would be fucked. If this was like 6 feet of water, or 8 feet of water, all these houses would be fucked if it was that tall. We're talking about 6 little inches and a puddle of water.
is the beach that has quite literally been carved
I know, right,
away
Albie?
by our
Shitty
10 to
news.
12-foot waves.
It's
And the beach
fucking.
erosion significant. Dunes have been sharply cut
Can
off
this
by about
lightning
almost
that I have
6
over
to 8
here?
feet in
Can this
some
lightning
areas.
hit her?
Beach completely eroded
So
away.
that
So a
way
lot of
we
the
can have real
officials now
news.
trying to get through the day today, hoping that
You're
these
standing in like
floodwaters
4 inches of
recede. People
water.
heed the warning, stay out of it. But a
Get out
lot
of
of
the
the folks,
water.
the mayor, the emergency manager coordinator, told me, we're looking at ways to shore up the coastline and the beach as we look through the next several months, especially as we get into next summer, because this is the
The
moneymaker,
invisible
right? The
storm.
beach. And for it to be carved away like it is right now, definitely a concern.
All right, Jane Minar, Fox Weather, appreciate you and your team. I'm sure we'll be checking in with you here as we continue
The
to follow all
invisible
of
storm.
this. Stay dry out there.
Stay dry. Get out of the fucking
Thank you.
pond. Get out of the little puddle of water. How about that? Do us all a favor. Don't report any more on the weather. You're just horrible at the moment. You know what I mean? Let's go on to more news. There was another plane crash today. Another one. Actually, it was like two today. Two plane crashes today. I think one was in Florida, a small Cessna plane, and then another like a 9-seater, I think, jet, or I don't know. We're gonna find out now. I know a jet crashed. Okay, let's set this up. I'm not flying. Fuck that shit. Dartmouth. Oh, I know where's that at. About an hour and 20 minutes in that area. That's crazy. Look at the car. Like it crashed into the car. In this accident, 2 dead, 1 injured after plane crashed into Massachusetts highway. So there are dead people in this jet here. And it hit this car. Something hit this car, and I believe this is the one that's injured. Is the one in that car. But this jet right here, it looks like it's upside down. It's those are the 2 dead. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, just people are. It's just not good right now. Not good. You see, let's see this one. See, like this one gives it more meaning to the story. This right here. Now this looks more like to report on.
Tracy and Jackie, what right now we have the next high tide coming up, the afternoon high tide, which was really the high tide of greatest concern here along the Jersey Shore.
See,
And
this is a little deeper. You know what I mean?
On Bay Avenue, also known as Long Beach Boulevard, but
So
the
this is,
water has
you know,
gotten so deep in the last hour or so.
see, this
there
is
no way that
what's
we could
deep.
go out there safely. Just take a look at the fire hydrant. You
See the
can
fire hydrant?
just how
So
high the water is there, and then across the
that's a
street,
good
that's
foot and a
Bay
half.
Village, a bunch of shops and
Maybe
restaurants.
2 feet.
The people there were hoping they'd have a lot of customers today. This is a holiday, but instead they've gotten a whole lot of water inside, and it is still surging.
Yeah, you see, this is news to report.
The flooding kept Country Kettle Fudge closed to customers today.
Damn, that's
Inside, the
fucked.
Beach Haven business still waterlogged from the early morning high tide.
Damn.
With concerns rising about the next one.
We got about 6 inches in the shops, and we're expecting another probably foot or more the next tide. I'm here picking stuff up a little higher.
The raging Barnegat Bay looking more like the ocean. Persistent northeast winds driving more and more water into the bay and ultimately out onto streets, many still flooded even after low tide.
The overnight high tide was the worst so far. This afternoon, it's not really going down. It's not draining.
This time lapse approaching the afternoon high tide showing the water quickly coming up again.
I've taped the bottom of the freezer off, so we hope that we don't get water into the freezer.
They already had quite a mess there inside, and I think it's going to be an even bigger mess when this is all said and done. Right before, right when I started talking, you probably saw a man. Well, there's a guy down there on his bicycle right in the floodwaters. When he was in the middle of Bay Avenue a few minutes ago, that water was waist deep. And I can tell you that about 3 hours ago, I was able to walk all the way across Bay Avenue with the water pretty much only coming up to my knee. So that tells you how quickly this water has been rising, and it appears it is still coming up.
Yeah,
Live
you
in
know.
Beach Haven, I'm Ted Greenberg, NBC 10 News.
I can only think of the cleanup ahead. Thanks, Ted. NBC.
Yeah, it's a, you know, it is what it is. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's put up the volume. How about that?
And President Trump getting a hero's welcome in Israel on a very historic
We
day.
won't get it here in
Hamas
America.
releasing all 20 living hostages as part of the peace deal that Trump brokered. Emotional scenes as families were reunited with loved ones who were held hostage for 2 years. The president getting a thunderous ovation while addressing the Israeli Knesset. And he couldn't resist taking a few shots at his predecessors while he was at it.
But when you settle 8 wars in 8 months, that means you don't like war. Everyone thought I was going to be brutal. In fact, I remember Hillary Clinton during a debate, she said, look at him, he's going to go into war with everybody. And actually, she said, he's got a personality that's all about war. No, and my personality actually is all about stopping wars, and it seems to work. It could have happened a long time ago, but it was strangled and set back almost irretrievably by the administrations of Barack Obama and then Joe Biden.
And then it was to Egypt. President Trump shaking hands and meeting with 30 countries for a Gaza peace summit, hoping to keep the momentum going on his 20-point plan for peace.
This man is a beast.
Now,
You won't get a huge welcome.
The rebuilding
Like,
is maybe going to be the easiest part. I think we've done a
It's
lot
still
of the
protest.
hardest part because the rest comes together. The momentous breakthrough that we're here to celebrate tonight is more than the end of the war in Gaza. It's with God's help. It'll be the new beginning for an entire beautiful Middle East. All the momentum now is toward a great, glorious, and lasting peace, and our commitment to fulfilling the 20-point plan. I hope everybody's going to join the Abraham Accord. I like to say the Avraham. I love Avraham.
And here's something for a change. Some Democrats and media pundits were willing to give credit where credit is due.
Of course not.
This was very much a peacemaker's speech.
Do you give him credit for this?
Of course not.
Oh, certainly. I mean, this is an incredible accomplishment, an incredible moment. I mean,
it's a terrific day for the hostage families. It's a terrific day for President Trump, for our national interests.
He should get a lot of credit. I mean, this was his
deal.
He
should get credit, but they won't give it to him.
He worked this out.
Listen, he got the deal across the finish line. There's no question.
Things seem sort of possible now in a way that they didn't necessarily before.
It's a better future ahead. That's what today
But
represented. It was so powerful and unbelievably emotional.
They don't give him credit for shit. The
And
government's still
I
closed.
think Hillary Clinton even had some nice things to say. Jesse Waters, we'll start with you on this huge moment. And I would just point out that President Trump, before he flew all the way there,
Like,
he was ready to stand there in solidarity with his friend, be a part of this peace movement, and take it to the next level in phase 2. But before that, he also met with hostages, former hostages and their families in order to hear directly from them.
Yeah, he was so successful because he turned everything on its head. Great day for everybody, but a huge indictment of American foreign policy over the last 30 years. Donald Trump bombed the Iranians instead of giving them cash. He turned Israel loose in the region instead of trying to contain Israel. He sold the Arab leaders technology instead of just weaponry. And all of the talk about human rights abuses really rubbed these Arab leaders the wrong way. And he focused on controlling the human rights abuses of the terrorists. Imagine that. He removed Palestinian statehood as the cornerstone of the negotiation strategy. And then he also turned New York real estate developers. Who would have thought they would have been more effective than career diplomats? Joe Biden, when he first gets in there, called the Saudi Crown Prince a killer. And then he told him he was going green. And then what did he do? He came back begging to pump more oil. So then when he wanted more help to solve this thing, they put him to voicemail. And all the people you showed praising Donald Trump for his success in the Middle East, they wanted to put him in prison. So if they had been successful in putting him in prison, Hamas would have still had the hostages and the Iranians would have still had their nuclear program. It kind of hinges, this whole peace deal, on the Bibi miscalculation when he tried to take these strikes against these negotiators in Qatar. Trump was shocked that he did that, and the Arab world was humiliated. And he brings Bibi back to the White House, and he makes him make an apology phone call while everybody was taking photographs. And that showed the Arab world that Trump could control Netanyahu. And that means they trusted him, that if Netanyahu signs this deal, Trump will make sure he doesn't break it. He was able to establish that trust through a personal relationship. And hopefully, what he's doing now in Ukraine, the way he turned Israel loose in Syria and Iran and Lebanon and in Gaza, he's now considering turning the Ukrainians loose by selling them Tomahawk missiles, because the nice stuff hasn't worked with Putin yet. He might have to turn them loose and have deep strikes inside of Russia, and that might bring an end to that war. And if you could do that, you got to give the guy the Nobel Peace Prize.
In fact, I think I just saw on X that Time Magazine, it's not Time Magazine Person of the Year, but they have him on the cover and giving him due credit. Harold Jr., get your thoughts now.
Good to be back with everybody. I agree with Jesse in huge ways. I think Jesse's sketching out of the history over the last several months, starting with, I think, two things: our ability to go into Iran with the Midnight Hammer mission and destroy and undermine their ability to fund and provide their proxies with weapons was a huge thing. The Israelis really paved that for us because they cleared their airspace, and we have the technology and had the men and women to be able to get it done. And then obviously, Jesse, I think you're absolutely right. The attack of the Hamas negotiators in Qatar rubbed Qatar the wrong way, and it gave President Trump the opportunity to apply pressure to both sides. And now we've got to do it. We've got to do it in Ukraine. I'd say two last things. I think Jesse nailed it. What I hope emerges from this, because there's some there are real questions that we will now have to deal with, and it was so encouraging to see the president there with the leadership in the Middle East as well as many of our European allies. And I actually think some of the pressure they applied to Israel by saying that they recognize Palestine as a state was something that also helped in this process as well. But we shouldn't kid ourselves. It was President Trump that did it. Two things. Will there be a new generation of leadership that emerges as we think about the way Gaza is going to be governed, new younger leadership? You talked about MBS and how he was perceived and treated by President Biden. He's a young guy who realizes that the future of that region cannot just be tied to energy products. He wants technology and other things. And clearly what President Trump did by brokering the sale of massive amounts of our AI and massive amounts of our technology will help that. We should all recall 2 years ago, right before October 7th, the Israelis and the Saudis were on the verge of a massive and historic peace and economic security deal, which would have transformed the region as well and added to the Abraham Accords, depending on how you want to pronounce it. So I'm hopeful and encouraged this afternoon, and I'm even more so that President Trump is now saying his trust for President Putin is at an all-time low, and he's going to give these people offensive weapons, tomahawks, in order to bring them to the table. So I agree with you 100%.
Kennedy, I could watch the reunion videos all day, and I have watched so many of them, and it does remind you just the barbarity of Hamas. And all of this could have ended if Hamas would have released all the hostages immediately. And Israel said that it would stop. The hostages are released, the war has stopped.
20 of them are. And, you know, for those 20 families, there was so much uncertainty. And the only thing that felt certain was this war was going to drag on for another year. It felt interminable, and they may not see their loved ones again. You know, the hostage videos that we have seen, the dramatic weight loss and, you know, the change in complexion and body makeup, it was so jarring for people. You know, seeing your loved one digging his own grave, seeing these people wither.
But I mean, they
and
look
grow
good.
pale.
I mean, they look like they've been
The worry is
fed.
that you're going to be on the list
They don't
of
look
families
skinny.
who were called when their
So
loved
they
ones
must have been
didn't
feeding
make
them.
it. And you know, they prayed and hoped.
This one looks a
beyond
little
hope,
bit skinny.
and this for them is something that they were trying to put into words in the Knesset in Israel as President Trump spoke. And, you know, the Speaker of the Knesset said that President Trump is the greatest ally Israel has ever had. Benjamin Netanyahu said that he was going to nominate President Trump for the Israel Prize, something that no non-Israeli had ever won. And, you know, when I look at this, I think, would we see a day like this? I hope that we would have if President Biden hadn't dropped out of the race, if he was by some strange miracle for him reelected, or if Kamala Harris had prevailed. And it's very hard for me to conceive of a president like this under her leadership. And, you know, this is the defining moment of his presidency so far. You know, we're only the first year into his second term. And, you know, I think that he is very hungry for peace and for more deals. And the way the world and Democrats have coalesced around him, I think that has to give Russia pause, because they feel momentum shifting against them, and they see how quickly things can change. And, you know, all you have to do is ask.
There's also a really interesting mix of a few months of, well, since President Trump was in office, of soft power through the State Department and the hard power from the Defense Department and Operation Midnight Hammer. I know that's your nickname. And how that was able to put these puzzle pieces together so that President Trump could bring everybody to the table and get it done.
That went all over my head.
Why?
I don't know anything about soft and hard power. I do know about Stephanie Power, amazing in Herbie Writes Again. I want to talk, I'm interested in what's happening like around us. Like every day you hear how awful Donald Trump is until something like this happens and it just goes deathly quiet.
Yeah.
It's just like all of a sudden people go back. You know what? Maybe that's how they should live their lives. Do not pay such a close attention to this and go about your lives, because you're going to be proven wrong. I have a suggestion. We have a huge audience, and the reason why we have a huge audience is because we have a lot of liberals watching. So if you're watching, here's just one request. You saw Trump bring Israel
Hit the
and
like button,
Hamas
subscribe.
to the table to make peace.
That's what I could do.
Maybe draw inspiration from that and call that one person, a relative or a friend, that you deserted or blocked because they voted for Trump. Just, I mean, this is such a huge deal. Your little vendetta, it can't be that hard to fix. You might have a sister-in-law, you might have a cousin, you might have an old friend from college. Like if Trump can do that, maybe it's time that you decide that you were a little harsh on your friends and the people because they happened to see something in Trump that you missed, because you did miss it. Politicians like Joe Biden and the rest, they live in the world of the acceptable. They accept everything. There's going to be death, they accept it. There's going to be poverty, they accept it. They accept everything. Trump came from the world of the unacceptable. He came in, he's like, what's this got to do? He would ask, why are we doing this? I don't understand that. Why do we have all this money there? I don't get this at all. I don't like war. Because he would not accept the managed decline and the constant death, he became unacceptable to them, to the people that were in power. He thought big. He sees everything as a moonshot. What could happen? Maybe not, maybe not. He thought that the impossible was possible. So I would love for Never Trumpers to ask themselves about the possibility that the things that they hated about him are what make him successful. And perhaps your ego was hurt by the fact that he believed that these great things could happen, and he was persistent and relentless and positive, and that just seemed so alien to you. If you think about it, where are his critics today? How small are they? Because I can't see them. Where is Bill Kristol? Where is Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney, Gavin Newsom, Vindman? Where are these people? We should do a show on Fox Nation called Where Are They Now? And just do all of it, because I want to know, how do you look in the mirror when you see, after years of mocking people who had faith in this guy, people who risked a lot of stuff to support Trump that you made fun of, the George Takei's of the world that ridiculed it, where are they? Don't you owe the people that you mocked some kind of apology? This guy is solving world peace. He closed the border. He's trying to reduce crime.
No, they fight against.
They'll find something new.
They resist.
They'll wait a full 24 hours.
Yes.
We'll be back at it.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling
analysis. That was a good show. That was a good one. Where they're at, they're probably planning on what they're gonna do next. Like, they were like, free Palestine, free Palestine. You had Thurda Gunberg get on a boat with a flotilla and took her ass over there and got arrested 2 times and deported from Israel 2 times. Where's she? Where's Greta? Can we get a microphone and put it on Greta's face now? Where's the camera? She always be taking videos, right? Don't she always be taking her little selfie videos? I've been held hostage. I am kidnapped. They took me at will. I do this for me. Oh, I mean, for all of us. Free Palestine. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. It sounds stupid. Trump did it like that. Got it done. Move on to the next problem. All right, we're still dealing with this Russia shit over here because Russia wants to play war games. This is like real life war games. They want to see what's up. Okay, so if the U.S. gets more involved and say, all right, Ukraine, here's some tomahawks, and I don't know, enjoy. You know, will that send a message? Not really, because Russia has a lot of drones. Lots of drones that they got from China, they got from India. They have all weapons on it, and they can hit certain areas all over. That's why they were testing to see how the security is and if they were picking up the drones when they were going by and stuff. And you know, a lot of them put their guards up. A lot of them shot these drones down. So, you know, they're testing out to see, you know, how far they could get with these drones. can these drones be turned stealth? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, because biological weapons you can use in all different ways, but the way I see how they will be using it is kind of like insect type of weaponry, kind of like a mosquito, but like it has like a certain disease that can really kill. I think that's how the real world war will be. It's going to be more like that type of warfare, and it's going to be like through insects, through using insects, and that's how they used to do it back in the days. Shit, that's how wars used to be won. Like I remember, like just thinking, right, being back in those days. Put yourself there, and you're like, you're on the outside, and they're over there, and they're protecting their fort, and we're like, fuck it, let's throw some rats on this fucking plank and just shoot it over the wall. And these rats are like fucking sick, they got it like a plague, and they shoot them over, and they just wait about a week, and within a certain amount of time they're all dead because of the virus that hit, and they just take over the city, take over the castle, take over wherever they wanted to. They used to use insects all the time, like we're rodents. But I think this time around is gonna be like insects. You're gonna see more like really rare diseases popping up, especially like in Ethiopia. Keeps coming up in my head. Like Afghanistan area, like just weird shit's just gonna start popping up, and it's gonna be like a real dark plague. Just it's just gonna happen. Just wait for it, you'll see. I don't know. Let's see what's going on here. Yo, what's up, Simon? How you doing? Just here talking about what's going on in the world. Let's continue on with the news, because that's what we're here for right now. Let's check this out.
This, you cannot ever deny success. You just have to give your respect, even if it's not your thing. Don't have the humility to give it up for enormous success on any level.
I agree.
Trump, not my choice. Didn't vote for him, but somehow,
a lot of people did.
And he's. I can't deny the success.
I can't either.
Yeah.
And he's the president.
And he's the president.
No, and they need to respect that, He's the president. And the president, listen, that's like the highest job in the land, is being a president of the United States. It's just, he's doing a great job. He's solving problems, bringing peace. I mean, I'm telling you, when Trump dies, the world will cry. The world will cry. They will mourn him, and they will make statues of him. They will engrave him with Mount Rushmore. Okay? Like, don't get it twisted. Trump is on a mission, and he's doing a great job, like it or not. If you don't like him, that's your prerogative. That's your problem. You need to go see a psychiatrist. That's there. It's okay. I see one all the time. It's okay to see a psychiatrist. But like, what the fuck? Like, Trump is doing his thing, man, and nobody gives him the praise. Nobody says thank you to him. Like, especially from the United States, they don't do that. We just bash him and make him feel like shit all the time, while he's in the world stage bringing peace and bringing people together and trying to make things happen. We only got this guy for a little amount of time, and the little amount of time he's rushing to get a lot done and bringing families back together again. You know, he's trying to bring people back together again and bring them at the table. Doesn't matter where the fuck you come from. We all got space at the table. You know what I mean? So let's continue on with the news.
The last remaining living hostages held by Hamas in Gaza have returned to their families. And as part of the first phase of Donald Trump's peace plan, more than 1,900 Palestinian prisoners were released from jail. The US president has already left the region after barely 12 hours on the ground, first in Israel, then in Egypt, and is being celebrated for his achievements, receiving a standing ovation in Israel's parliament, declaring the war is officially over. Dominic Waghorn looks back now on what's been a historic day in the Middle East.
Historic, right? But here in the U.S., you know, he gets nothing.
And an agonizing final
and even
few
a
hours,
thank you.
Signs of movement.
It's crazy,
by
man.
our team inside Gaza.
It's
Red
really
Cross
mad.
vehicles
That's what I'm telling you.
snaking through its devastated hellscape.
I'm
with
waiting for the
hostages
asteroid to
on
hit
board.
us, man. We don't deserve
Then
to
into
be here.
Israel.
You know what I mean?
The roads
Especially
lined
here in
with
the United
crowds
States.
cheering their return.
No, we don't deserve it. The world don't deserve us here.
The 20 hostages, all of them men,
This
were
is
then
a great
flown
thing.
from southern Israel by helicopter. Their ordeal has
They do look good.
traumatized an entire nation. Their release, free
They did
Israelis
feed them.
from
You
that
could tell they fed them. But they look full.
After
They don't look
waiting for
skinny.
so long, the agony is over. For those who were kidnapped and their families who feared this moment would never come. Guy Gilboa Delau, taken from the Nova Music Festival that terrible day.
I mean, it's nice, you
I'm
know?
crazy about you, says his
It's
mother.
a great
I
thing.
love you so much. And Etan Moore, abducted there too, hugged for the first time in 2 years by his parents. You're alive, says his father, with 2 arms and 2 legs. The day has felt like several compressed into one, because as the
Wow.
hostages were being freed, the man responsible for their release was coming into land.
This man is busy.
Other presidents
You think
might have
Biden could
waited
do
to see
this?
how their diplomacy would
This is
work
what I
out.
hate about the
Not Donald
Democrats.
Trump, here undoubtedly to bask
You
in the
think
glory,
they
but
could do
also
this?
keep up the momentum for a deal he believes could transform
on,
the
man.
region.
Come on.
We have seen other American presidents
have
lauded in
people
Israel's
fucking
Knesset,
bowing down
but never
to
quite
Trump.
like this. This was the first of what would be at least 20 standing ovations.
Donald Trump is the greatest friend that the state of Israel has ever had in the White House.
Wow.
President Trump is thought to have forced Israel's prime minister to agree to this deal. Benjamin Netanyahu, though, told the Knesset the war is over.
The last 2 years have been a time of war. The coming years will hopefully be a time for peace.
Then the president spoke for over an hour, stopped repeatedly with applause,
Eric Kushner.
and once by protest from Israeli Arab and far-left politicians. Donald Trump was emphatic. This is the start, he says, of a new dawn.
This long and difficult war has now ended. You know, some people say 3,000 years, some people say 500 years, whatever it is. It's the granddaddy of them all. And in an unprecedented achievement, virtually the entire region has endorsed the plan that Gaza will be immediately demilitarized, that Hamas will be disarmed, and Israel's security will no longer be threatened in any way, shape, or form.
On the West Bank, they were welcoming home their captives, more than 250 long-term
I mean, how are you
prisoners
going to
released
go after
from Israel's
Hamas?
jails.
Because Hamas is there, and look, they
Another
released
1,700 detained
1,900
in
Palestinian
Gaza
prisoners.
during the war allowed home too. There are no state-of-the-art hospitals there to receive them. and their homes have been destroyed. The full
Wow.
scale of Gaza's destruction is becoming clearer, as much as the urgent need for aid to
No
flood
people
in to
coming
help
back,
them.
but what are they coming
It
back
has
to?
been an
Nothing.
extraordinary day, like few others in the Middle
So what
East,
do you
of
do?
enormous emotion and high drama. But this, in a sense, is the easy bit. If the diplomacy led by Donald Trump
You
is
do,
to
how you
fulfill the
build
promise of his rhetoric today, there needs to be immediate progress towards putting a security force into
It's gonna
Gaza
cost a lot of
and an
money.
interim government as soon as possible.
Gaza don't have that money like
Only the
that.
first phase of
People are
Trump's
gonna have
deal
to
has been
donate.
implemented, a 3-day ceasefire and exchange of captives.
Well,
And
countries
yet
are
the
gonna
US
donate.
president is already
There you
hailing
go.
a new era of peace in the Middle East. As he meets allies in Egypt, he must now start the work of making that come true. Dominic Waghorn,
They're gonna
Sky
have to
News,
rebuild
Jerusalem.
Gaza. They're gonna have to rebuild. They're gonna. That's like, for me, it's not hard to astral project and goes to those areas and see everything that's fucked up there. Like, I don't understand how these people are going back and why they're going back, knowing that there's nothing. I mean, I know they don't have ways of communication like how we do, like the internet and so forth. That's very third world country over there. But to come back, right, to get the green light. All right, come, let's go back home. Like, and then when you get there, you're like, what the fuck? Where the fuck am I gonna live? There's nothing here. What am I gonna do? I was better off where I was at. And I came all the way back home to no home. It's crazy. Just crazy. I don't know. It's we are really living in historic times. I'm telling you. They are writing books as I speak about Trump and what's been going on and what happened today. This is going down in digital history, like written history. This is like stories that's going to be tied in, like kind of like a Bible sense, right? Because the man is just nonstop ever since he got elected. He's been nonstop working. Like, he's working double time for like the past 4 years that he wasn't in office and he had this doofus as president. He has to make up for that shit. So it's like Trump is working double the speed, double the, like, he's doing everything double. And the people can't handle it, and then you have all these protesters, and they're blocking ICE, and they're blocking all these, like, instead of helping them and being like, yeah, bring them in because these are like the worst of the worst. These are criminals. There's a lot of people that are being brought here that shouldn't even be here. Like, these are people that are released from insane asylums, mental institutions. Like, a lot of prisons released their population and had them leave and sent them to the US. Come on now. And then you have these crazy they dumb he she's out there protesting and blocking ICE like it's all good. I don't get this. I don't get it. Who's behind this? Who's actually the main character in this story, especially with those he she's out there? You know, you give them a little bit of you give them a month, then they want to take a year. That's how I see about that group. You give them 1 month and they want the whole motherfucking year. No, we should get rid of that Pride Month shit. Get rid of it. That's garbage. If you're gonna do anything, do like Armed Forces Month. How about that? Do an Armed Forces Month where we honor our military of all militaries. Each week will be like the Army, the Navy, the Marines. We give everybody a week. Fuck that, right? That's a better idea. Fucking Pride Probably could get 1 day. That's all it needs. It don't need a whole fucking month for that fucking bullshit. We don't need that. The American people don't need that. Humanity doesn't need that. Like, that's like going backwards. I'm trying to take 2 steps forwards, and we're taking 3 steps back, and like, what the fuck? No. With Trump, at least we're running forward, and we're leaving the rest behind. Like, he-she's want to go out there and protest and act crazy, then let them he-she's go at it. Go at it with ICE. Have a good time. Let me know how you feel afterwards. You know? That's all I gotta say. Let me see how you're gonna feel after you get dominated and you get taken in jail, and then those fights are gonna get aggressive. The time is gonna get aggressive. If you keep like interfering with ICE, it's gonna be worse for you. I'm just letting you guys a heads up. They, them, he, she's, all you guys out there, and gals and it's and whatever you want to call yourselves. That's it. Your time is up. You had your moment. Now your time is up. That's it. Done. And let's take a look at this story here. They're gonna arrest her. What is she doing? Yo, where this lady is, she's interfering. And they're gonna arrest her. And this guy with the microphone too. Like, what the fuck? In the mud. Yo. He straddled him. Look at this. Oh, in the mud. Oh, Lord. You're handcuffed. Now get your fucking ass up. Oh, it's a guy. They dumb. Come on. Let's go, they dumb. And who's this? He, she? He, she. Yeah, I would smoke that whole place out. What's he doing? Oh, he's holding his hands in so they can't get his hand. So they're trying to arrest him. Oh, here they come. Here comes the crew. Oh, they're fucked. They're gonna get him. There goes the cops. There's the backup. Yay! Where's the Palestinians? Free Palestine! What is that? A costume back there? Yeah, it is a costume. This is like a bird or something in the background. Like a costume of a bird? Yeah, it is. Like, I don't know what's these people wearing costumes. But look at this. Give it up, they dumb. Yo, you know what's called resisting? This is a charge. All this is charges. The more you resist, the worse it is for you. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Oh, you're fucked. They got your hand. Ha ha ha. Got your hand. Got your hand. Got your hand. Oh, he's a dumb? Yo, dumb. You just got arrested. There him go. There him go. Bye bye dumb. Bye bye dumb. They're gonna get you next, girl. They're gonna get all of y'all. All of y'all are gonna get arrested. because this is gonna stop. Look at this. What the fuck am I watching here? Oh no, this is getting crazy. Let me turn it off because of the music. I don't want to get hit with copyright for the fucking music, but what the fuck is this? What are we doing? In front of the ice, too. Look at the frog. What the fuck? Frogs together. What? I don't know what his sign said. I'm going to have to, like. I'm not going to rewind it. Should I rewind it? I just want to see what the fucking frog had to say. Hold on. I'm sorry. We had to see this again. Frogs together strong. What? Frogs together strong. That doesn't make sense. What is this? What is this poster with two frogs holding hands? What the fuck? We need a okay. Let me come back. Let me come back to my show. I'm sorry. I'm just ashamed because something so beautiful happened today, right? And you still have people so doing stupid things. And these people fall asleep and they wake up and they continue to make these fucked up decisions. And that's what's attracting this object that I see coming towards us. It's such this negative energy a lot of people have that is attracting something big our way. And, I see a lot of things, man. I see, like I said, when Trump passes away, I see the whole world crying. I see a lot of people crying. I see politicians crying. I even see like the whole world sad, like mourning. It would be one of the grandest funerals, I think, in presidential history. Like he will be mourned. And the thing is, like, he kind of reminds me like this Neo, like a Neo person. Is he the one? I believe we are all the one at certain points, And Trump has made it to where the highest plateau, He's done a lot. Now, can this strength of what he's doing can it pass to people's minds that Trump is not out here to make anything bad? He's trying to bring good. He's trying to bring more work here. He's trying to bring businesses here. Like the man's a businessman. That's what we need as a president. We need a really good businessman president. And that's what we have, Trump. And the fact that we got him for 2 times, like I hope it's the third time's a charm. I hope they give him a third term. I really do. From all the things that he has done, he's definitely getting the Nobel Peace Prize next year. I mean, this year was kind of like a tie-in because the for the entry for the Nobel Peace Prize has to be before January 31st, right, of 2025. So that's when all the voting already went in. Okay, so they announced the winner, which they just did. They announced the winner. But now with everything that's going on now, for the next year's Nobel Peace Prize, Trump is he's a definite shoo-in. Like that's not an issue, He's more worried about trying to get this bullshit with Russia and with Ukraine, and try to get that like calmed down, because he's a businessman. He wants to see businesses. He wants to see people successful. He wants people to make money and be able to sustain themselves. And he's doing a lot, man. He's doing a lot. And the way you're respecting him, man, that sucks. That's that. You know, it hurts. After a point, it does hurt. You know, because he's like the least respected president, but then he's the president that has the most of all the administrations that you put before you. Who has done the most? Trump's done the most. You know, that's wild. And he's done the most of a second term. In the first 8 months of his second term, he has done more than any president put together on their second term. That's wild, man. And they still don't respect him. They still don't respect him. And then you got idiots like this. You know, you got idiots like this. You know, let's make it bigger. You got idiots like the frog here. You got this idiot right here that's like wearing an upside down whatever costume, like he's trying to make himself like really cool. And then you got this one with the flag, and then this whatever skeleton horse with a rainbow, whatever the fuck that is. Like, you know what I mean? This is already getting stupid. You know, you got Palestinian flags over here. You know, well, this free Palestine. Okay, they're already free. Now what? What else you gonna shout now? Like, you gonna pick another country? What country are you going for next? Like, what's your next battle? Like, I don't get it. I don't get this group. Like, this pushed me so far away from being a Democrat ever. I will never become a Democrat. Like, if my like people should just like renounce and just leave the Democratic Party. Just become like I did. I became an independent, and then I realized how, you know, what side I like the most, and I was like, man, I'm more Republican than anything, and I jumped over the Republicans. You know, I suggest others to do the same. You know, like, it's okay to be in the middle and then see from the outside in, and then decide which side you want to be on. Man, that the right side is the best side. It's so cool. It's everything's at peace. It's like, I'm not worried. I'm not like these people out here protesting in the streets and causing a ruckus and, you know, disrupting and not doing anything good for us. This is not helping us. This frog right here, like, together strong, sounds stupid. Frogs together strong. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So let's continue watching this bullshit. Oh, that's right. They're playing fucking music. I put it on mute. But look at this. Yo, I would arrest that fucking whatever that shit is, that pony thing. I would arrest all of them, man. And just say, you know, enough is enough. You know, all these people that are coming like towards, like, back to them, I will storm like another team from the other side and get them on all corners, and then just get buses and start arresting all these idiots. Like, you got dinosaurs out there. You got and this is all night. This is all day and all night with this bullshit. Let me see if there's any music. So you have pro ICE going against Antifa, saying fuck Antifa. Oh Lord, they playing the Ice Ice Baby song. So let me mute it. Oh Lord, look at this. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Don't tell me they're doing the stupid dance. Oh God. What is going on with society? Let the asteroid hit right there. Like, hit him, let the asteroid hit him right there. Can we just let the asteroid hit him? What's going on with society? What's going on? I don't know why that person will pick a frog. I know. Yeah, it's so stupid. The whole thing is stupid. You know what I mean? It just makes no sense at all. No sense at all. Let me see what else I got here to watch. I do have a few things here. Oh goodness gracious! All right, let's. I got two more to watch, so let's go ahead and start wrapping it up. All right, let's watch this one. I'm gonna check. You know what? Before I go to that one, let me check to see if there's anything like happening or anybody uploaded something that could pass along to us. There might be. So yeah, there is add-ons. We got add-ons. We have add-ons. It's okay. We'll all survive. We have add-ons. I thought I had to. No, I'm actually adding on some more videos. So for those who are rewatching, thank you for rewatching. I appreciate you guys so much. You know, don't forget to leave that like and subscribe and all that good stuff that other people say. But I have to say it just to remind people, I guess, right? Oh no, Rick's a YouTuber. I was like, God Almighty, help us. Oh no, we got a car accident. We gotta watch. Great, and it's Alec Baldwin. Great, we're gonna watch that together. I'm telling you, we got other things going on right now, so we're adding videos. The show ain't over yet. Let me see here. Let me close this out. Are they doing the test or what? All right, conclude successfully. All right, good for them. Give me one sec. I was just watching something here. It just caught my attention. Oh no. Oh no. Damn, do we have oh no. Let me see. Sorry. Like we got add-ons. Yeah, we definitely got add-ons. I'm sorry. I thought we were gonna end the show earlier, but yeah, there's a lot of. I won't be able to get to all of them tonight. There's just a lot of things going on, man. This is crazy. Our world is wild. I mean, it was a great time living on it. You know, we're all limited. You know, with time, we don't know when we're gonna go, and we could go at any moment. At any moment, and I feel like we take life for granted and we don't pay attention to our lives and understand that every second we're here, that's like a second of lucky, like being lucky. It's kind of like winning the lottery to still be alive and to live in this life, in this timeline. Because we don't know where we go next. It's the unknown, you know? That's why I fear the most. It's like death. Yeah, because I don't know how to fucking die. And it's just like, it just really confuses me. Because I've been having like a lot of like feelings that I'm going to die. It's just weird. It's just like from the inside. It's just like, and then it just attacks my feet. like something like, I don't know, something inside. I talked to the doctors about it, and they're like, fuck, man, they're gonna have to like put me on wires and just monitor me for a week and to see what the fuck is going on. Because something's going crazy. I don't know if it's with my nervous system or something going on. And I don't know if it's my nerves or I don't know what, I don't know what the fuck. Okay, so let's go ahead and move this over here. Let's see what else I got here. Let's close this one out. So much things going on. All right, let's this goes to this let me see, do I have all these set up? Yeah, I have everything set up. Yep, everything set up. Okay. So let's go to this where is this weirdo? This weirdo. Oh, come on. Okay. All right, let's check out this story. See what the fuck happened. Owen crashes his car. Damn, and the day that Trump has all this good news and everything, he has even better news with Alec Baldwin crashing his vehicle. But it's glad to see that he's safe and moving around. I mean, it's kind of fucked up. He got an accident. No, his insurance is gonna go up. That's fucked up. Like, what the fuck was he trying to do? Was he even paying attention? You know what I mean? He crashed into a fucking tree. He hit the tree. This motherfucker should not even be fucking driving. It's like, fuck it, I'm gonna buy another car. It's just like chump change to me. We'll get a better one. Like, if I got insurance, they'll pay for it. What the fuck? Is that a tow truck? Yep, tow truck. Police there. Shaking hands and giving people little hugs. Now you gotta go walking? What are you gonna do? You gonna jaywalk now? Like, you better fucking walk a little faster, dude. You're gonna run your ass over. You're already in one accident, you're gonna be in another one? Like, the world doesn't stop for you, dude. Like, yeah, he's fucked. He shouldn't be driving. He should have been the passenger side the whole time. What a fucking moron. Like, Trump's probably laughing and shit. Like, oh, don't tell me there's a video. Ooh, we gotta see this. We gotta see this.
Good morning. I'm Antoinette Antonio. We want to get you another update on that breaking news that we've been following all morning long. A plane has crashed on Interstate 195. This is in Dartmouth. We are getting our first pictures coming in from that scene. So I'm getting a look at this for the first time, as are you. Right now, you can see that this was a fixed wing plane that crashed in the median there of the interstate in Dartmouth. You could see there was a lot of smoke in that area. State police also told us that there was a lot of fire after this crash. crash happened. Again, this is all happening in the
person
median.
that plane
So
died.
as you can imagine, traffic very affected and very backed up in that area. 195 westbound is shut down at exit 19. The left lane is
Damn.
also closed on 195
What
eastbound.
the-
So once again,
Did the
this
plane
was
hit the
a
car?
fixed wing plane that crashed in the median 195 in Dartmouth. State police telling us that preliminary information suggests that this plane might have actually been trying to land at the New Bedford Regional Airport, which is near that area if you're familiar with it.
Yeah, but
195 is
weather
actually
condition.
just south of that airport.
It's
But
been
state
windy
police
today.
also said that preliminary information indicated that the plane was trying to land there, though it does not appear that the pilot provided the airport with any type of flight plan or said how many people were on board. We also don't know if any cars on the ground were impacted by this. Right now, it appears that this was mostly confined there to that
No, those
grassy
are that had
median, that plane
damage.
then catching fire, and then you see all of that smoke.
Yeah,
So
you're
we're
not
still
looking at the
waiting to
pictures,
learn
dummy.
identities of people on board, the pilot, if there were any passengers, if any cars were involved in this. So a lot of questions right now. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Cindy Fitzgibbon. And Cindy, we've been talking
the
a
weather
lot
is
about the
horrible.
poor visibility. There's also rain. There's also the high wind.
Yeah,
it
we
was
don't
windy.
know
It's
if this
windy.
was weather related, but certainly the weather has not been great this morning, right?
No,
So this
it
is a
was
look at the
not
current
good.
visibility, and I draw your attention down to New Bedford. This is coming from the New Bedford Regional Airport. The visibility right now is 3 miles, but I was looking back at the observations from the airport, and at 8:07, right around the time this happened, the visibility was about 1 3/4 miles, and the ceiling height of the clouds is about 900 feet. So conditions right there not great. This is a radar loop from the past 2 hours, taking you back into that 8 o'clock time frame or so. And you can see for the past couple of hours, we've had periods of rain, light rain, mist being reported at the time of that observation around 8:07 this
For
morning, too,
visibility.
from the New Bedford Regional Airport. But this is I-95, 195 right here. And you can see Dartmouth to the south, Route 6 and New Bedford. So this entire area still getting the rain right now. It's been intermittent here over the past couple of hours. The wind is the other factor. Obviously, we are in the midst of a nor'easter right now. The wind has been strongest down toward the Cape and the islands, but this northeasterly wind right now gusting to 30 miles per hour. At around 8 o'clock this morning, it was gusting to 31 miles per hour. Sustained winds, though, out of the northeast have been up around 10 to 20 miles per hour. So we've had the wind, we've had the poor visibility, and of course, the light rain ongoing out there. Antoinette?
All right, Cindy, thank you. We are just getting some more video. These are our first
shit.
views of video from this scene. We've been talking about
Yeah,
this
these
fixed
people
wing
didn't
plane
make
that
it.
crashed there in the grassy median of 195 in the Dartmouth area. So as we get a look here, you could see those flames that we were talking about earlier. And some of the other pictures that we
wonder who was
saw
in that
earlier,
plane.
we were just getting our first look at them, and as we analyze them a little more closely, we do see that there does appear to be a car on scene that was damaged. So once again, we are waiting to get a lot of this information confirmed. Right now, you see where that plane crashed there in the grassy median on 195. This is in the Dartmouth area, and we do believe state police think that this plane was trying to land at the New Bedford Regional Airport. There's that picture of that car on scene. So we're still waiting to learn any injuries. We're still waiting to find out how many people, if there were any passengers on board that airplane when it crashed, as it was heading to, we believe, the New Bedford Regional Airport. So a lot of details to work out on this, and of course, whether or not the weather played a factor. We're going to continue to stay on top of the situation, and we will continue to cut into programming as warranted. For now, we will return you to Kelly and Mark.
Girl, you such an airhead. What's going on with these reporters today? These anchors are just really bubblehead today. What the fuck is going on? Man, a lot of planes been falling. A lot of planes been falling. I feel like things are happening. A lot of energy from the sun is hitting the earth. The weather was not good. I don't know how long this person has been a pilot. I don't know any of his history, but it's just messed up, because Shouldn't have been flying today. Today was really not a good day to fly. It's just not a good day to fly. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is something I was looking at. Look at this. Let's take a look at this together. I was watching this here. There's an accident that happens here. I want you to see it. Make it nice and big for you guys to see. Look right here. Boom. He took the light. He wasn't supposed to. Shit. The white truck, it's on the wrong. Let me see. Oh, because this car. Okay, he got confused. He got confused. Like, now that I'm rewinding it, right? And I'm looking at this here. This is an accident, right? But you see, he goes around. You see, he was back here, right? This is red arrows. This is do not turn. There's red arrows. There's green lights here. So these are green. These are good to go. But the turn is no turn. Because it's red. So let's play it again. Let's pay attention to this white car. He comes across and he goes. So he gets confused and he thinks, oh shit, we got to go. So he throws himself, not knowing that car, boom, was coming. He got confused. And thank God this light turned like red because these cars were coming pretty fast. And then you have this accident right here. Oh, man. What do you guys think? Whoever's here watching, who you know, do you believe that car that went around and made that turn influenced the truck to take that turn, and he took the turn and not knowing this black car was coming, and boom, like pretty much T-boned them. They got a T-bone. Damn. This is not good right here. This is going to cause another accident. Damn, look at that. And these cars coming fast. Like, they need to slow down. Wow, that's crazy. But that's pretty much it. It's just showing the whole scene of the thing, the accident. Took a long time for personnel to come. You see let me see if we could get a close up. They moved the camera there. So I guess they had called 911 and they tapped into the camera and then they moved the camera. There's the truck. Damn, that truck got fucked up. This black car is fucked. But it's not the black car's fault. The truck is going to lose this one automatically. But I think the influence of the white car going around him and making a left turn, and this light hasn't turned. This red light has not turned at all. Like, we could go back and watch how many times that red light has turned. I don't see it turn not one time. Not one time. Like, we could fast forward it. And just pay attention to the light. Okay? Pay attention to the light. Okay, well, let's go like faster. I want to go faster. Look at the light. We're going 4 times the speed right now. Look at, are they turning any colors? Right? I believe, even though the truck is wrong, the truck could sue the city. You see? The other car went because there's a red light, but it never turns. You're gonna see again. See? It doesn't turn. They took the red light. We're here. Fine. Now they all turn red. And look, it doesn't turn. Damn. I mean, let me adjust the speed on this one so I don't mess up my other videos. Oh, come on. I hate when the YouTube does this bullshit. You can't do anything. Fuck it. Give me 1 second. What's going on here? Stupid. All right. Just go back to the settings here. Change the speed, put it back to normal. All right. Let's bring it back to me. I think you should sue the city. That light wasn't turning fucking red. That light turned. It was red. Like the whole time. It didn't turn green at all. Yeah, though I guess they were waiting there for a long period of time, and the white car was like, "Fuck it, this guy's not gonna go. I'm gonna fucking throw myself." So he threw himself, and he made it through. So I think nonchalantly, not really checking on the traffic to see what was coming, he threw himself, and their light was still green, and he didn't see that black vehicle, and he got T-boned. Technically, he could probably sue the city, and to offset the, he got to pay the black car. That's an innocent party. But take it to court. Take it to motherfucking court. Let's see what this is about here. Oh, the nor'easter again. Motherfucker. Fucking nor'easters. I am not liking the nor'easters. I really am not liking it. My neck really hurts.
With our teams up and down the coastline, we've had a really good vantage point of how this is all played out. None worse than what you're seeing here, some of the scenes from Manasquan, New Jersey. That's where Bob Van Dillen has been live throughout the day today. Bob, high tide, well behind you at this point, but it looks nasty. What's the scene been like since we spoke last?
You know what? The water level has gone down, Ian. We know that the coastal flood warnings, they expire at 8 p.m. tonight for Manasquan, New Jersey, and the areas right here. But you can really see a stark difference between now and the dead high tide. Dead high tide, we had these waves that were coming in off the ocean, hitting that sand berm right here and going up and over and then spilling over towards this region. That's not happening anymore. That hasn't happened in about an hour. So, yeah, the water levels are starting to go down. What hasn't stopped, though, it's the relentless wind. The winds are gusting over 40 miles per hour. You can feel it. I put on the specs because it's sand within that wind and it's just taking me apart. So put on the goggles right now. It's still hitting me pretty hard. But we're talking winds right here over 40 miles per hour at times, sustained easily at 30.
Seven, how you doing over there with the nor'easter?
Not for anything because it's pushing us around. But
If
it's
you're
that
still
wind
here.
action that's getting the wave action. The waves
I wonder if you're
nonstop
surviving.
across this region by Manasquan Beach, over the inlet, again into Point Pleasant Beach on the other side. But that's going to be a major concern. Ian, this is another storm that we've got coastal erosion that we've been talking about up and down the entire East Coast, essentially from the Outer Banks way up towards New Jersey into areas by New England and Long Island too. This storm is a lot different. Remember, we had Hurricane Aaron. I was in this exact same spot. In fact, the sand wasn't quite as high. I think you could see the base of this flagpole. That's how much sand has been blown up with this one. This nor'easter has been worse than Aaron in the sense that we've seen higher coastal flooding, we've seen more beach sand displacement, and we've seen more beach erosion. So this storm is way worse than what we had with Aaron in terms of that. Aaron didn't make a landfall. I know that. We had bigger waves with Aaron for sure. Some of those faces were 10 to 12. These guys right behind me are more like 6 to 8 at this point. But when you get across the buoys, you're still in open seas. You got 15 to 16 foot breakers out there. So yeah, the swells are still out there for sure. But things are calming down water-wise. The wind has not ebbed at all.
You got the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar glasses out there now, Bob. Looking good. I wanted to ask you though, were you surprised at all? Because you were talking about perhaps making a trip down to the shore last week as we were watching this up in the Fox Forecast Center. Did you expect this to be a worse experience than you had when Aaron, a big hurricane, was just offshore?
I thought we were going to get a lot more rain out of this, so I knew inherently it was going to be more of a miserable assignment, even though I love nor'easters. Some of my favorite storms of all time. I love them. This has been a driving wind-related thing with an occasional shower, too. What's getting me wet right now is just sea spray that's coming in and bashing me over and going across into the inlet at this point. But yeah, you know what? This is one of those storms. Nor'easters a lot of times are worse than hurricanes for the Jersey Shore. First of all, there's more of them. And when the hurricanes do come up, they usually don't make a direct impact, with the exception of Sandy that went right in across the Delaware Bay, essentially.
Yeah, Sandy fucked us up over here.
Water. It was a storm surge of 12 feet right where I'm standing. That wasn't the case. Just about a 3-foot surge on top of what you would see. But it's enough to get the moderate coastal flooding going. In fact, moderate, bordering on major. Go up the line a little bit farther, and you've got the Raritan River, the Amboys up there, Perth Amboy, those beaches when you get across like Keansburg. You could see major flooding on that first high tide, but I think the high tide cycle, now that it's going down, the worst of the coastal flooding is over. But now we're just concentrating on the wind and the beach erosion. That's the main thing, and we didn't see that with Hurricane Aaron.
Yeah, Bob, are you staying right there on the shore? I'm curious about how far inland you have to go for the impacts here to throttle back a bit, because you had said it, storms like this, the worst of the impacts are right there along the immediate coastline.
Yeah, you know what? We're looking at the observations. The Monmouth Executive Airport is 8 miles inland from where I'm standing right now, and the highest gust I saw there was 39 miles per hour. We were saying before that we had over 45 mile per hour wind gusts, 55 out there across the buoy. So yeah, the farther inland you go, the more tempered it is. You have more friction, et cetera, et cetera. But the coastal flooding went all the way up through the Manasquan River, and you've got coastal flood warnings well inland. So these kind of storms, they're not just coastal impacts, they are, but the flooding goes inland for miles.
Yeah, we're actually looking at some live pictures from the Beast. We had it in the 2 box with you, Bob, and you could still see a lot of lingering water. It's a messy look across Manasquan there. And yeah, we see you going through it. So,
nothing but dry streets.
Great job reporting out there today, Bob.
Oh my God, look at all the flooding.
Tough conditions.
Look, right here.
We'll be checking back with
Here's
you
all
in
the
a bit.
flooding. They got to the Ponte area.
There's no relief from the wind. I've noticed that.
You spend all that time in the gym. I see you every morning in the gym, too. You got to find maybe something with a slightly larger profile, Bob.
Maybe you're probably right, because this ain't helping.
No. Bob, thank you. We'll be checking back.
You kidding me? Get back in the car. Shut up. These news reporters are so stupid, especially the weather ones.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
Wow.
This took 3,000 years to get to this point. Can you believe it? And it's going to hold up, too.
The president describing this as much more than a hostage exchange and ceasefire. He's promising the region a new golden age.
This is not only the end of a war. This is the end of an age of terror and death. And the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
Trump says the Gaza deal might be his biggest accomplishment yet, and that's saying a lot, although he hasn't finished the big, beautiful ballroom. To him, the deal is more beautiful than any tower, any course, any coin. The deal is as beautiful as Melania, almost.
They all wanted to see this happen. That's the amazing thing. Everybody came together at this point. If you go back 6 months or 7 months, you would have said a thing like this is impossible. They all wanted this to happen, and it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen.
Everybody wanted this, but they never tried. And when they did it the wrong way. Instead of giving the Iranians bribes, he bombed them. He sold the Arabs tech instead of just weaponry, and didn't lecture them about human rights abuses. He let Israel fight their own wars, joined in when it made sense, and then told them to cut it out when it didn't. Trump discovered that the Palestinian statehood wasn't a goal. It was just a stumbling block. Joe Biden, in a weird way, did bring the Jews and Muslims together. They both hated him. President Trump, the Jews and the Muslims, respected. And now families are being reunited for the first time in 2 years. For a man who's accused of separating families, he sure knows how to bring them together.
Right. Is it Geico?
And it feels so good.
The hostages are back. The hostages are back. It is a good feeling. Isn't that nice to say? You know, I just said.
I mean, they're like more like survivors.
The hostages are back. It feels so good to say.
Survivors are back.
Kamala wanted a ceasefire without getting the hostages back. How does that look now? Biden said Trump stole his peace plan. How does that look right now? The cover of the Jerusalem Post, God bless the peacemaker.
Wow.
From Air Force One, Trump was welcomed with a big thank you on Israeli beaches in the town square. They were chanting his name.
They didn't do this shit for fucking Biden. Or any president. Ever.
Say that President Trump is possibly even more popular here than he is in the United States.
Yeah.
Wolf Blitzer says people are wearing MAGA hats in the Middle East.
Freaking United States.
When I was there,
they get their shit together, man.
Make America Great Again hats. In
the world is all MAGA.
Israeli ministers
and you have these Democrats that are like
that said Trump the peace
bunch of Karens.
Hakeem should wear one of those instead of the sombrero. Netanyahu says he's got a new BFF.
Donald Trump is the greatest friend that the state of Israel has ever had in the White House.
No.
The Arabs haven't had an American president this good since Bush the Elder. It's not easy to get Jews and Muslims to love someone this much. They can't agree about anything. Egyptian F-16s even gave Air Force One a big, beautiful escort today. Wow. Meanwhile, Trump was on the phone with Arab investors to help turn Gaza into the Mideast Mar-a-Lago.
I'm pleased to announce that numerous countries of great wealth and power and dignity have come forward to me and just today and over the last week
help rebuild
to say they want to help in the reconstruction of Gaza.
Nice.
Putting up whatever money is necessary.
The Mideast used to be a money pit. And somehow Trump's turned it into an investment opportunity.
Wow.
And has everybody else putting up most of the capital.
That's
Fingers
crazy.
crossed the deal sticks. Now, Pakistan's demanding the Nobel Committee do a recount.
I would like to nominate this great president for Nobel Peace Prize. And I think that you're the man this world needed most at this point in time.
Wow. A decade ago, Pakistan was caught harboring Osama bin Laden, and now they're kissing the feet of an American president.
Wow.
Time magazine put him on
That's
the cover,
crazy.
calling the peace deal his triumph. But Trump's humble. He doesn't want all the credit.
Marco will go down, I mean this, as the greatest Secretary of State in the history of the United States. I believe that.
I think he's gonna end up being vice president, man. He'd be a great vice president.
And he and I, we really fought it out.
And then he could take over presidency.
He was nasty.
After
Who the hell
Vance.
thought this was going to happen, Marco, right?
And Witkoff got a big shout out, too.
Steve started this all by himself. I call him Henry Kissinger, who doesn't leak, okay? Henry is a big leaker. He leaked. Steve doesn't leak. Steve just wants to get the job done. He wants to do what's right.
New York real estate developers did more for peace in the Middle East than what career diplomats did in decades.
Wow.
Hillary said Trump didn't even have the temperament to be president.
Everyone thought I was going to be brutal. In fact, I remember Hillary Clinton during a debate, she said, look at him, he's going to go to war with everybody. And actually, she said, he's got a personality that's all about war. No, my personality actually is all about stopping wars, and it seems to work.
Democrats are now saying, thank God we didn't have Kamala.
It pains me somewhat to admit this, but yes, he's certainly been good for the Middle East and for Israel in a way that I don't think there was any reason to expect Harris to be good.
Even Kamala is giving Trump credit.
Damn.
I don't think that we should hold credit where it's due, and I commend the people who have been a part of this process. I'd commend the Qataris, the Egyptians, and the president.
If Kamala had succeeded in putting Trump in prison, Iran would have still had nukes and Hamas would have still had hostages. The best Biden and Harris could do for Gaza was spend hundreds of millions on a pier that sank into the ocean. Even Biden's guys are now giving MAGA credit.
I give credit to President Trump. I give credit to Witkoff and Kushner and Rubio. These are hard jobs.
This shouldn't be political. We can all celebrate peace and the hostage release, but we do have to keep score. A lot has been said.
If he gets the Israeli hostages out, I promise I will wear a MAGA hat for one day on the show and say, thank you for doing it.
Oh,
We
shit.
watched The View today and no hat. Rashida Tlaib was banging pots and pans, screaming,
She
"Free
should have wore
Gaza."
the fucking
Trump
MAGA
just
hat.
freed Gaza. No tweets, no speeches, no press releases, nothing. And the woman's Palestinian. Seems like she was more into the Intifada. Even Fetterman's asking, where's Rashida?
Absolute elation. I mean, how can we all celebrate this thing? I mean, you've had human beings held underground for over 2 years and tortured and beaten and starved, forced to dig their own graves and things. Now they can finally come back home. And now everyone should be celebrating these things.
If Democrats had their way, Trump would have been rotting away in prison like a hostage instead of freeing them.
Crazy.
Why can't the left just say we were wrong? They held signs that said, end genocide now. Trump ended what they said was genocide. Not even a thank you. No, sorry about the whole Hitler thing. Now we should make them call him Gandhi. Trump's on a roll, and he's reaching out to friends and foes.
Gandhi.
Yet even to Iran, whose regime has inflicted so much death on the Middle East, the hand of friendship and cooperation is open. I'm telling you, they want to make a deal. That's all I do in my life. I make deals. I'm good at it. I've always been good at it. And I know when they want. Even if they said, we don't want to make a deal, I can tell you they want to make a deal.
With this Mideast momentum, Trump's turning his eyes back to Ukraine. He's flirting with sending Zelensky tomahawks to make Putin feel more pain. Carrot hasn't worked. Trump thinks it might be time for Putin to feel some stick. Now, if Israel and Hamas can make a deal, Russia and Ukraine can too. Trump's more accomplished in 9 months than most presidents do in a term. He's still got 3.5 years left, and he's already racked up 8 peace deals, trillions of dollars of investments and trade deals. A secure border,
Only 8
tax
months.
relief, crime down in D.C., record
That's
stock
crazy.
market, low gas prices, and cooling inflation. When Trump meets Xi Jinping next month in South Korea, China is going to be facing an American president battle-tested and with the wind at his back. We're witnessing a historic presidential legacy being written in real time. The only question now is, how big?
Is there a dream that you're still trying to chase, or have you reached all your dreams?
You were asking questions like you're a television com. I thought I was just going to come out and play around the golf with you. And you're asking questions like I'm on television. Yeah, no, look, you become president. That's a dream, right?
Yeah.
Can't.
I don't think you
Now you can, no, you dream now you want to be a great president.
Yeah.
Now you're president. Now your dream is to be a great president.
I think you're doing a pretty good job.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube?
That's
Become a Fox
crazy,
News
man.
Patriot today. Click join to find out.
Guys, I'm telling you, Mount Rushmore, all this stuff is coming to him. All the acolytes, they're all coming towards him. He's a one of one. One of one that we're not going to have for very long. That's wild. That sucks, man. That really sucks. All right, let's check this one. Let's check this one. I got 3 more to go, and then we're done. I don't want to be here all night. I want to go to sleep early. All right, let's go ahead and watch this one.
And talking about slow learners, let's check in with ABC. Let's have a look at Vice President J.D. Vance absolutely demolishing George Stephanopoulos, the long-term Democrat operative turned ABC News anchor. Did not see this coming, and his reaction to it was to abruptly end the interview. This is certainly a lefty losing it.
I don't know what tape you're referring to, George. I saw media reports that Tom Homan accepted a bribe. There's no evidence of that. And here's, George, why fewer and fewer people watch your program and why you're losing credibility. Because you're talking for now 5 minutes with the Vice President of the United States about this story regarding Tom Homan, a story that I've read about, but I don't even know the video that you're talking about. Meanwhile, low-income women can't get food because the Democrats and Chuck Schumer have shut down the government. Right now, we're trying to figure out how to pay our troops because Chuck Schumer has shut down the government. You are focused on a bogus story. You're insinuating criminal wrongdoing against a guy who has done nothing wrong instead of focusing on the fact that our country is struggling because our government's shut down. Let's talk about the real issues, George. I think the American people would benefit much more from that than from you going down some weird left-wing rabbit hole where the facts clearly show that Tom Homan didn't engage in any criminal wrongdoing.
It's not a weird left-wing rabbit hole. I didn't insinuate anything. I asked you whether Tom Homan accepted $50,000, as was heard on an audio tape recorded by the FBI in September 2024, and you did not answer the question. Thank you for your time this morning.
No, George, I said that I don't.
Up next, we'll be right back.
Wow.
Joining me now is
That's
Newsweek's
crazy.
Senior Editor at Large and Article 3 Project
You
Senior
should put
Counsel
words in
Josh
his
Hammer.
mouth.
Josh, J.D. Vance had this to say about that interview he posted on X. Peace in the Middle East, China threatening critical supply chains, government shutdown. No, George doesn't care about that. He's here to focus on the real story, a fake scandal involving Tom Homan. I've got to say, Josh, I don't know why George quit that interview so abruptly. Surely he's not so sensitive about JD calling out his dwindling audience numbers?
Yeah, Rita, ABC, let's not forget, was the media organization that hosted the vice presidential debate between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz, a truly loathsome and pathetic attempt at a moderated debate. That was actually probably the single worst moderated debate, at least my estimation, of the entire cycle last year. So they've shown their true colors. I mean, frankly, when it comes to the corporate media in the United States, who has not shown their true colors? I mean, CBS News making a very interesting decision in hiring Barry Weiss to be editor-in-chief. We'll see how that plays out. But ABC certainly doubling down on stupid. And J.D. Vance is totally right, by the way, which is that this is exactly why all these networks are just losing ratings. ABC is also Jimmy Kimmel's network. That we saw what happened with Jimmy Kimmel recently, when you had Sinclair and Nexstar and various other affiliates that decided to briefly drop his show from the air. So Rita, this is why more Americans in general, especially in my generation, millennials, Gen Z, this is why so many people come up without even having access to TV. The people these days get their news on the internet. They get their news on social media here. I mean, very few people are watching ABC, NBC, and CBS other than boomers 65 and up there. But J.D. Vance is not a boomer. J.D. Vance is very much of, by, and for a younger generation. That's one of the many reasons, Rita, why I was so personally excited and gung-ho about his political candidacy in the first place there. And I think it's one of his major appeals moving forward as we barrel ahead towards 2028.
And ABC had to pay Donald Trump a sizable amount for some of the misreporting, misinformation, deliberate disinformation, whatever you want to call it. Now, I featured Katie Porter earlier. She has a long history of erratic behaviour, underperformance, all sorts of staffing issues, and yet she is the front runner to be the next governor of California, the fourth biggest economy in the world, Josh. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, California. I mean, speaking of doubling down on stupid, right? I mean, we're just saying ABC is doubling down stupid. I mean, what is it going to take for California to sober up at this point? I mean, frankly, the fact that California is going down the rabbit hole it is, I have plenty of fellow conservatives here in the United States who are like, oh, California, Schmalifornia. Well, look, in theory, I would like to salvage California. Call me idealistic, call me crazy. California is one, massive. It's a lot of people. Two, it's beautiful. Three, it's a massive economy. So in theory, I would really love for Californians to come to their freaking senses and to stop voting for absolute fools to the governor's mansion and the state legislature in Sacramento. But unfortunately, Rita, you can't help a people that does not want to help themselves. This is the exact same mentality that I find myself having over and over again when it comes to the crisis in Europe. I very much have enjoyed my visits to Europe over the years. I enjoy going to the classic cathedrals and the old streets. It's very different than what we have here in the United States there. I would like for Europe to be preserved, but the Europeans don't want to help themselves when it comes to immigration from cultures that simply do not mesh with their own and so forth there. So same apparently with California. Californians don't want to help themselves. I genuinely wish they would, but if they think that they're going to get any better governance after Gavin Newsom than Katie freaking Porter, then I mean, I've got some news for them, and that's simply not going to be the case. I wish that California would get back to the state that was governed once upon a time by Ronald Reagan. There was a long stream, even Arnold Schwarzenegger, not exactly a conservative, but a moderate Republican. It wasn't that long ago, Rio, that California was actually politically not crazy. It's been left-leaning for a long time, but it was not crazy not that long ago. There's a fairly recent trend, and unfortunately, it's a really dastardly one.
Now, we've been covering the J. Jones scandal on this program more than most of the US media, who have, some of them have devoted zero time to the Democrats' Attorney General nominee for the great state of Virginia, sending horrendous messages about wanting to see a Republican colleague dead, along with the man's young children. It is
crazy.
Just incredible that he is still in the race, Josh. And have a look at these Democrats.
He should be in jail.
Whether they're willing to condemn J. Jones and ask him to drop out of the race.
He has apologized. I wish other people in public life would
he ended up going to jail. That's a threat to a politician.
Quick question. Do you think J. Jones should drop out of the Virginia race for AG? The AG candidate in Virginia, J. Jones, should drop out of the race after those violent texts that came out of what he was saying about the former House Speaker in Virginia?
Being somebody who has, in my family, political violence is a real thing and it's a big deal.
Do you think the Virginia AG candidate, J. Jones, should leave the race that he's in?
Time at the moment. Thank you.
Okay. Did you see those texts, though, that he sent? The violent text messages? Up out of the race, Senator J. Jones?
Senator, do you have any comment on J. Jones? So when you get back to the office, they're going to have...
There you go, Josh. Bernie, Chuck, the rest of the lawmakers there, most of them didn't even want to address the question. Is that good enough?
No, I mean, it's obviously not even remotely close to good enough. Rita, this is the problem with the current Democratic Party in a nutshell, is that they have this absolute fanatical, radical, decivilizational, anti-American, burn it all down flank. I call them the shock troops of the Democratic Party. That's the Black Lives Matter, Antifa, street thug wing of the Democratic Party movement. And they are increasingly an extremely violence-prone movement. And unlike the summer of love of 2020, where it was mostly limited to looting and arson, vandalism, and property crimes, it's increasingly becoming not just property crimes, but violence. I mean, we saw a direct line from all of the Biden-Harris administration's various threats about how Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans represented an existential threat to democracy. Do you remember that infamous speech that Joe Biden gave in Philadelphia 3 years ago? It was over Labor Day weekend here with the red backdrop. I mean, it was giving off, frankly, 1930s German-style vibes. And I can draw a direct line from that to multiple people trying to assassinate Donald J. Trump. I'm not saying that that anyone other than the direct moral culpability goes to the shooter. But the reality is these things don't happen in a vacuum. There was a shocking recent poll out of Harvard University that showed that over 30% of Harvard students said that they could potentially see a world in which they could justify acts of violence to prevent a speaker from speaking on campus. These are the kind of things, whether it's Jay Jones fantasizing about committing political violence. This is the issue. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. This literally is the issue that could bring this republic to the brink. It really is. I mean, when Americans or any people who are living in a self-governing republic, when you cease to be able to settle your political disputes, your moral disputes, your policy agreements, when you lose the ability to settle that at the ballot box with the pen, with the keyboard, the megaphone, and so forth, and instead you resort to the rifle and bullets and the knife, that is how republics die. This is really no joke. There's no exaggeration there. And I find it absolutely appalling, albeit wholly unsurprising, that so few Democrats, other than perhaps Senator Kelly of Arizona, are willing to say anything whatsoever about Jay Jones.
Well, let's talk about Portland now. We've certainly seen political violence in that place. Donald Trump is determined to clean it up. He says it's like a war zone. It's in decay. It's crime-riddled. The Oregon governor obviously doesn't agree. The Socialist City Council doesn't agree. But even the New York Times, Josh, is finally questioning the wisdom of far-left rule and asking what happens when socialists are in charge. Portland offers a glimpse. Josh, let's take a glimpse at Portland. This is the third world conditions you have to negotiate to reach Barnes and Noble at the Lloyd Center.
And Lloyd Center, and we park in the parking garage, and now we're going to go up the stairs into the mall. And this is what is here. I wish you could smell it, because it smells like pee. New pee and old pee. Watch your step, there's pee on the floor.
So this is the only way to get upstairs if you're parked right here to get to Lloyd Center.
Josh, I'll take that back. I've been to third world countries. They're normally in a lot better shape than that.
You know, Portland once upon a time was a shining example of what a forward-looking and forward-thinking American city might look like. I'm thinking back 30, 40 years ago. But at this point, I think you're right, Rita. I've actually never been to Portland, but based on all that I've been able to glean there, my friend Andy No has been ground zero with the Portland Antifa riots for years and years now. Based on all that I've seen, I think you can make a very strong argument that Portland is in worse condition on a day-to-day basis from a cost of living, from a quality of life, from a crime perspective than your typical sub-Saharan African city. I mean, that's essentially what it looks like to me. But Portland has also become a shining example, unfortunately, of a broader national trend, which is you have these cities that are governed in politically monolithic fashion by Democrats year after year, decade after decade. I'm thinking of cities like Baltimore, Maryland, Detroit, Michigan, St. Louis, Missouri, Portland. So many of these cities just have mayor after mayor after mayor who are of one party only. Chicago, another big example there. I can't think of a single example. I literally cannot think of a single example off the top of my head of an American city that has had monolithic uniparty democratic governance for decades and has been better off because of it. But the cherry on top is because the New York Times here, this is the article they're saying, oh, here's socialism at work. Dude, you guys have covered for Zohran Mamdani. The New York Times has offered all sorts of apologia for Zohran freaking Mamdani, a guy, I would argue, for whom socialist is actually far too kind. This is a guy who literally quotes Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto. He is a dyed-in-the-wool Marxist communist. I think socialist is genuinely not accurate. He's an actual literal communist. So if the New York Times, a month before the election, that's probably going to put this Hamas-supporting pro-jihad commie in the mayoral office there. Really? You guys are crying foul this late in the game? You had a really long time, the New York Times, back in the Democratic primary to just try to stop them there. And now it's so ridiculous. But ultimately, Rita, you reap what you sow. And the people of New York, I think, are tragically going to reap what they sow here. And it's going to look a lot like Portland sooner rather than later, I fear.
Now, before you go, Josh, President Trump will address the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, about his triumph in brokering a historic peace deal. This is going to be something that's going to be talked about for years to come. But I want to ask you about some of the anti-Israeli sentiment that has been normalized in America. Listen to this discussion between Democrat Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib and Hassan Piker. Listen to how they talk about Israel.
It is absolutely a violent apartheid state.
No, it's an ideology. Zionism is an exterminationist ideology built around ethno-religious supremacist values. So when people say like, oh well, I'm a liberal Zionist, like I want there to be a Jewish.
I've heard that so many times.
I'm a liberal Zionist. I want there to be a Jewish ethno state. I'm like, okay. Like, what do you mean? It's like saying you're like a liberal Nazi. You want an Aryan majority ethno state?
Josh, I'm going to ask you to be succinct. I'm sure there's plenty you could say, but what's your response to that?
Rita, as the great Dennis Prager always says, how many Muslim majority countries are in the world, and the Jews are not entitled to one tiny state around the size of New Jersey. I mean, it's just so utterly preposterous. Unfortunately, Rita, I wish that the Israel issue were solely an issue where the left is crazy, but there are some fringe voices on the right that are getting way out of hand on this stuff as well. I'm not sure if this reached Australia, but I was actually accused this past week while I was offline for a Jewish holiday by Candace Owens of being complicit in the assassination of my friend Charlie Kirk. I kid you not, that is literally what she accused me of. It is an insane, deranged, evil thing to say. And the only reason that she is doing this, the only reason is because I myself am Jewish and a supporter of Israel, and it complicates their narrative that Charlie Kirk actually was a firm, dyed-in-the-wool friend of the Jews and supporter of Israel. So it's on the very, very fringes of the quote-unquote far right. I'm not even sure I want to call Candace Owens the far right there, but it's very much in the mainstream left as well, and it's a big problem that we have to address.
He came out of nowhere with that.
Josh, just on Candace Owens, there are plenty of conspiracy theories right now about Charlie Kirk's murder, about whether the official narrative is accurate. How did your name start being mentioned in these conspiracy theories?
It's not entirely clear. I think the alleged series of events is that I was in this very active WhatsApp chat with Charlie Kirk, where he was blowing off steam and venting the day before his assassination about how he lost a $2 million a year Turning Point USA donation from a prominent Jewish donor. And then Candace took this tweet of mine from a day or two before Charlie's assassination, which was literally about an entirely different topic, about the horrific, savage butchery of Irina Zarutska on the Charlotte light rail. And I was quote tweeting a tweet from Donald Trump about public executions, and I said based. And Candace Owens heard this totally out of context. He was like, "Oh my God, Josh Hammers is foreshadowing the assassination of Charlie Kirk for turning against Israel." I mean, it's contemptible. I'm a lawyer. I know this is likely defamatory conduct. We're looking into possible legal action there, and I'll keep you apprised of it.
Wow.
Josh Hammer, thanks for your time.
Damn, he threw fire right back at Candace Owens. See, that's why I don't listen to Candace too much, because a lot of people, they'll run to Candace and they'll be like, oh, I gotta listen to Candace Owens. And yeah, she's doing investigations, she's doing a lot of stuff, but she's making a lot of mistakes along the way too. And it's like, you can't just slander anybody. You can't just like, and then try to get you in a I got you moment. And I don't know. I never really liked Candace Owens' attitude. I just don't like her energy because she gives me more like that Two-Face, like, she could like fake it to make it, it's like, yeah, she does the work and that's great. And she is good at what she does. But, she gives us vibes like I don't know, it's off-putting for me. It's just like she can continue doing the work and that's great and all, but I don't need to listen to her. I don't. It's just I feel my energy and I know already, that case is already a fucking mess as it is. I think I already talked about this before, the GFK 2.0. Yeah, definitely. So let's go on to other news. Oh, this was this news story I wanted to follow up about the little girl that was I guess she was murdered. No, she was found in a container here in Connecticut, actually in New Britain, Connecticut. Let me see if there's let me see if I can set the story up so I can remind you guys about the story. Let me see if this one's good. How long is this one? Okay, let's we'll watch from 2 different stations. Let me set them both up. Definitely want to watch this. Let me just resize them. This is it's breaking news out here in Connecticut. So I'm not so sure because it should be national news, but nationally they wouldn't even fucking mention this. But let's go ahead and watch together. It just came across my feed, so let's go ahead and watch.
The search is on now, right now, for a third suspect in the death of a 12-year-old girl in New Britain. We have now learned the mother and aunt of the little girl are under arrest.
News 8 investigative reporter Jeff DeBaron is live now in New Britain with what he's been able to learn today. Jeff?
Hey there, guys. Yeah, one investigator telling me he's got 35 years on the job as a police chief. He says this is one of the worst cases he's ever dealt with. He said emotionally very tough. Meantime, detectives say little Jacqueline Torres was physically abused and left behind in a plastic storage bin.
This case is a deeply heartbreaking and disturbing case. Our detectives, with our local and state partners, have worked tirelessly to uncover the truth and to bring justice for Jacqueline.
Seasoned investigators say this one is tough to take. 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres, her remains found inside a storage bin and left behind at this vacant house in New Britain. Detectives say she was physically abused and starved for a long, long time.
The facts that you have, that she probably died a long time ago and was stowed away, is probably enough to show you what we are dealing with here.
Under arrest, Carla Garcia, mother of Jacqueline, and her aunt, Jacqueline Garcia, facing charges too. The little girl's mom charged with murder, the aunt, cruelty. The search goes on for Jonathan Nanita, boyfriend of Carla Garcia, wanted for murder. Detectives say young Jacqueline died back in the fall of 2024 while her family lived in Farmington.
Following her death, Jacqueline's body was kept in the family's basement and subsequently moved when the family relocated from Farmington in March of 2025.
Police say DCF was aware of the family, but can't say any more right now. There are other kids involved, but they're safe. No one hurt, we're told. Did anyone ever notice Jacqueline missing from school?
I'm going to be very careful with where we go with that. That's a part of a large part of the investigation. There's been some information that's come forward between being removed from one school and entering another to being homeschooled.
From here, the court system will take it and prosecute to the highest extent of the law. I'd like to again send our deepest condolences to the family and friends.
I can't believe this is not national news.
All right, little Jacqueline's mother and aunt due in court tomorrow. The mother's being held on $5 million bond tonight. The aunt being held on $1 million bond. Police say they have a verbal cause of death from the medical examiner's office, but they're not going to share that just yet. We may learn that tomorrow. One more thing, quick, before we go. If you have any information about this case, especially that guy, the boyfriend who they're looking for, Nanita, give police a call. We're live in New Britain tonight. Jeff DeDarian.
Let me go back to the picture of the boyfriend. Because if I spot his ass, I'm going to fucking fight him. He looks like an elf. He could be taken off. Because he looks like a doofus. This must be his driver's license picture. It looks like a driver's license picture. Because they can get it from the DMV, and this is like the picture they put up. Like, damn, look at those eyebrows. You can't miss them. Like, those eyebrows, holy shit. My goodness. Yeah, this is, I wonder what was his part in all this. You know, because they're looking for him to arrest him. So they got the mother, the aunt. Who is he? I don't know, but they put a reward. I'll go look for his ass. I'll play him. Like, I don't feel good, motherfucker. Get the fucking down to the ground. I'm claiming this bounty. Oh no, this guy didn't check out this other news here. Same.
Do you want to get back to that disturbing breaking news coming out of New Britain, where the mother and aunt of 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres have now been charged with her murder? Investigators believe the girl likely died last year, while her remains were only discovered last week. Your reporter Owen has more on these absolutely disturbing details, ones that the mayor of New Britain says makes her stick to her stomach, as we learn more from city officials. Owen?
Well, it's not just the mayor, it's police, it's everyone in this community who are just hearing about this. These are incredible, disturbing details. They refer to as just absolutely disheartening and heartbreaking in this community. 29-year-old Carla Garcia, she is accused of murdering her own daughter. Police right now still looking for a third suspect in this case. Now, as I said, 29-year-old Carla Garcia, that is the mother of Jacqueline Torres. She's charged with murder, child cruelty, and several other charges. She was arrested last night. Her younger sister, 28-year-old Jacqueline Garcia, was also charged in this case with risk of injury to a child and child cruelty. Police are also looking for Carla's boyfriend, 30-year-old Jonathan Nanita. He's also accused of murdering 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres. Police say the investigation began last Wednesday when a plastic tote was found at 80 Clark Street with the girl's remains in an advanced state of decomposition.
Oh my
Police
God.
now believe she has been dead since the fall of last year.
Oh my
Her family
God.
was living in Farmington. Police also say in their investigation she suffered prolonged starvation and physical abuse before her death. Investigators add that Jacqueline's body was likely kept in the basement of their Farmington home until they moved to New Britain in March of this year. Police still don't know why the remains were discovered outside the abandoned home on Clark Street. Jacqueline was homeschooled before, which officials say made it harder for the community to realize that she was missing.
Wow.
We handle many types of crimes in our line of work. The ones with kids are probably the most difficult, and obviously the people standing behind me have been working since this call came in nonstop, 24/7.
Jacqueline Torres' family continues to grieve. Over the weekend, they released balloons and a vigil right here at the home where her bodily remains were found. Now, both Carla and Jacqueline Garcia are expected to face a judge at Litchfield Judicial Courthouse up in Torrington. We'll make sure to bring you that coverage as that happens tomorrow. For now, your reporter live in New Britain, I'm Owen Kingsley, Channel 3 at Witness News.
That's crazy. I was just saying that is so fucking crazy. I guess they have a SpaceX thing. Let's see here.
Let's take you live to Texas. This is the
And that was in 18
SpaceX
seconds.
launch.
We can
This
move
is
it
the
forward.
11th test flight of the Starship, and we are now less than 1 minute away. 40 seconds.
Huntington back in the seat. Take us through the final
Flight
seconds
directors go
until
for launch.
Fucking SpaceX 7. Look at this shit. Hurry up, because the aliens are already in. They're by Mars now. They're releasing the probe into Mars. 3i Atlas is releasing probe
10,
into Mars.
9, 8,
That's funny.
7, 6, 5, 4.
And the U.S. is keeping it a secret.
2, 1.
Here we go. Let's go, big
We
boy.
have liftoff. Go Super Heavy. Go Starship. Thanks for all the historic flights, Pad 1.
It's pretty big. Like, motherfucker. It is like a big Johnson.
Eagles, catch you downrange.
A big wiener. That's like the Austin Powers, remember? That's a big hot dog. Extra large hot dog.
Booster and ship, nominal power and telemetry.
All right, we are about 45 seconds into flight. We're still getting the
Man,
rattle
everything's
here
going well.
at Star
I
Factory.
mean,
We are seeing
Trump
33
with
out
the
of
peace
33
deal.
Raptor engines lit on Super Heavy as it arcs across the
Spaceship
Gulf.
here,
Coming up
the
next on
Starship,
Max Q.
next Starship, 11th test flight, the 11th flight. So it seems like it's going to be a successful flight. I don't know. It looks good.
Max Q. So at this point, we've passed through that period of maximum aerodynamic pressure. The next thing we're looking forward to is going to be hot staging. So we've got 33 out of 33 Raptors lit. Super Heavy makes its way uphill. Hot staging is going to be coming up in just a little over a minute. At that point, we're going to see all but 3 of those Raptor engines on Super Heavy shut down.
Like,
Our
when are they
version of
going to test
Miko,
it in orbit?
most engines cut off instead of main engine.
Yeah. When is the spaceship going to stay in space?
And then after that, we're going to release the clamps that are currently holding Starship to that hot stage adapter. It's then going to ignite its 6 Raptor engines to push it away from Super Heavy and then start making its flight uphill. So in about 30 seconds, we're going to see the engine start to shut down on Super Heavy. You'll see them kind of shut off in separate banks until we've just got those 3 center engines that never stop running for this process, and then looking for 6 ship Raptors. All right. Miko coming up in about 10 seconds. See the engines throttling down.
Booster engine cut off. We look so fragile. This little ass planet. We think we're so big. Ignition. This planet is so little.
Stage separation.
Separation is good.
All right, successful hot staging maneuver. So we've got 12 of the 13 engines lit back up on boosters, so it's doing its boost back. Real excitingly, though, we've got 6 out of 6 Raptors lit on ship there, so it's now going to continue to make its ascent into outer space.
Is it going to make a landing?
While this boost back is happening, we're using those 13 engines. So everything, well, 12 out of the 13, and then we go down to 3, and then we're going to shut down for the end of boost back. That's sending Super Heavy back towards its planned splashdown zone.
Oh, yeah, splashdown. Okay.
Right after we finish this boost back burn, we're also going to separate the hot stage. This will be the final time that we're doing this.
So they're not putting in the landing pod. They're going to get it from the Gulf.
We should be seeing the hot stage. So the hot stage separates. It's going to make its way down, also splash down in the Gulf. In the meantime, though, these 6 ship Raptors are going to continue firing for about 5 more minutes. Next up for the booster, though, is going to be its landing burn. There's a cool tracking shot. We dumped some of the prop out on our way back in.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I was spraying up there. Yeah,
all right, so for booster, this is one of the main things we're trying to get is going to be this landing burn. Oh, that's so you can see the hot stage kind of making its way towards the left side. So that's the bottom of the booster. It's about to pass right in front of where you can see some of that prop dump happening. They look like they're close together, but there's a good amount of distance between them, and the hot stage will go down and splash down in the Gulf while the booster comes back for its landing burn.
Wow. Good view, too. Like
Starship is on nominal trajectory.
All right. Looking good on our trajectory, looking good on everything. Jake and Amanda, you guys with me down there?
Yeah, definitely. The crowd is gathering over here in the office. You can definitely feel the energy in here. Great to see that booster is making its way down to the splashdown zone in the Gulf.
I thought it would have gone back to
the shaking down here was absolutely nuts. The windows are still there, still intact. So that was pretty awesome. But yeah, booster's coming down. We're at about 30 kilometers, about All right, yeah, and as we approach that landing, just like tower catches, we will be doing a 13-engine landing burn to slow down. This time it will be in a V3 configuration. And as we're starting to get into the denser part of the atmosphere, the booster is using 4 hypersonic grid fins to guide itself through atmospheric entry towards its landing site.
And we're just about 20 seconds away from landing burn start, where we'll first ignite the center 13 engines, then bring that down to 5 to slow down the booster for landing. And finally, that will come down to 3, and we'll cut all of them off while we're still about 200 meters in the air. So booster is going to see a bit of a harder
booster landing burn
start. It's going to be nice and gentle. There it is, right in the water. Very gentle. That was very gentle. There you go, just flipping sideways.
Booster landing burn shutdown.
Oh, it's sending me out.
And there we heard it. Booster landing burn shutdown. We saw a 13 to 5 to 3 V3 demonstration. And into the water we go.
Yeah, in the water.
Wow, that was absolutely awesome.
Very, very gentle.
If you can even hear us right now, congrats to the whole SpaceX team. So far, so good for today. That was incredible.
Yeah, we still
got
the other
stuff, guys. I'm jealous of the crowd. All right, back to ship. Ship's still making its way. We've got a little under 2 minutes left in this ascent burn, so we've got all 6 Raptor engines still firing. So the next major milestone we're going to be looking for is SECO. That's our second stage engine cutoff. That's should be coming right at about 8 minutes and 58 seconds into flight. So we've got about 1:20 still to go. Really cool to see Booster go through that landing burn. That was one of our really key demonstrations we wanted to try and do today. That's mimicking what we're going to be hopefully doing. Oh, we just got our sonic boom, sounds like, from the booster coming back. All right, less than a minute to go. So we are going to see the 3 RVACs, the vacuum optimized engines, shut down first, and then we'll shut down those 3 center engines. So we should be a little under a minute until SECO. Just a reminder, this is putting us into a suborbital trajectory, so we're intentionally just going slow enough that we're not going to achieve full orbit. This puts us on a course where those engines shut off, and no matter what, we're coming back.
Starship is in terminal guidance.
In the Indian Ocean. All right, terminal guidance. So we should start seeing the shutdowns come up in just a couple seconds. Less than 30 seconds to go in this ship ascent burn. All right, RVACs have shut off. 3 more to go.
I guess it's going to land in the Indian Ocean. I hope it makes it back. You know, you need to land this bitch. I miss the old shuttle.
All right.
My bad. The internet went out. That landing was too perfect. It actually messed up with the internet. So my bad. My bad, but not my fault. So Let me set these up again. And let's try to finish the show. Because I said it was going to be 2 hours. It's already turning 3 hours. I want to go sleep early. It never happens. Every time I say I want to sleep early, it never happens. Let me see. Okay, here. Let's see what this typhoon did to Hawaii, Alaska. I mean, let's check this out. This is in Alaska. Would you want to live in Alaska? You think we have problems over here in the States? They have their problems over there too. And this is I believe a typhoon. Everybody's losing their homes because a lot of these people live on boats like on the water.
Where's Tammy?
And a lot of people, their boats are flipping over and they're being bashed around. Like this one here. That wind is in that current. Trying to pull it out. And they're getting that system over there in Alaska. We're getting our nor'easter over here in the east and the northeast. That's crazy. All right, let's keep it moving.
LA County Sheriff's bomb squad is now in Redondo Beach as part of an investigation into a bomb threat and triple stabbing that happened at a private school this morning in Torrance. Good afternoon, I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. Thanks for joining us. 3 staff members were stabbed at that private school. All have non-life-threatening injuries.
The suspect, a former student, is in custody. KTLA 5's Kimberly Chang is live in Torrance with the breaking developments in the case.
Hi, this is where authorities were focusing in on that investigation just a few hours ago. They did take down some of the crime tape, so we were able to move closer. If you take a look behind me, this is the school where that stabbing happened earlier this morning, Schweitzer Learning Center. Now, we did see the bomb squad truck leaving the scene just a few hours ago, but the investigation continues here, and we're now learning they're conducting that related investigation. Take a look, Sky 5 live over the scene where you can see armored vehicles. As you mentioned, this is happening right now in the Redondo Beach area, and we don't have too many details about what they are investigating there, but we do know that it is related to the stabbing that happened here earlier this morning. Around 8 a.m. Monday, Torrance police say 3 people were stabbed at Schweitzer Learning Center on Amapola Court in Torrance. The private school specializes in programs to help middle and high school students with diverse special needs.
It was a guy and a girl. That's what they were saying. Yeah, we seen the guy. We seen the girl. So, the guy looked wounded from his arm. All his shoulder was bleeding. Like, all his clothes on this side was full of blood.
Police say the victims are staff members. 2 were taken to Harbor General Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. A 3rd person was treated at the scene. Police say the suspect is a former student. He allegedly tried to stab a 4th person before taking off.
We didn't hear anything until we seen the cops arriving. Yeah, and we seen the guy running down the street.
Police located the suspect and took him into custody. They say he indicated to officers that he placed 2 pipe bombs in the area. The LA County Sheriff's Department bomb squad was called in and a robot was used to conduct a thorough investigation. Sky 5 captured video of 2 items being detonated outside the building. People inside neighboring businesses were advised to stay inside for their safety.
The bombs, yeah, I just read it online.
Did police say anything?
They just blocked the area.
I'm shaking my head, but I'm shaking my head to the whole country because things are going crazy. There's shootings, there's stabbings. People are just acting out. It's so unreal to me.
The street was blocked off for hours. A spokesperson with Torrance Police Department released a statement saying in part, following a thorough investigation and assessment of the area, we're pleased to report that there is no ongoing threat to the public. 2 devices were located and they were determined to be incendiary devices, which were rendered safe by the LA County Sheriff's Department bomb squad. Now, there were students here when that stabbing happened. A parent told me off camera that a few hours ago, those students were transported by the bomb squad to another location where they were reunited with their families. Reporting live here in Torrance, Kimberly Chang, KTLA 5 News.
That's crazy. All right. Let me bring it back to me. And then let me resize these real quick, because some videos came in late and we're going to have to watch them because they're very important. Okay. So, I think we're going to leave this one for the end. We're going to continue on with this one. And this one is Jason A. All right, here we go. Let's watch.
It took Kushner and Witkoff to say on behalf of the president that we assure you that will not happen. In the end, is Jared Kushner the person we should thank for this moment?
Well, Jared definitely played a significant role, that's for sure. And I can tell you, through my experience in government and also now, the value of outside players can be very significant. Yes. So I without a doubt, from everybody I speak to and everything I know, he played a very heavy role in pushing this deal across the finish line. He obviously has a lot of relationships and contacts in the Middle East. He remains through his businesses and so on.
Sunday is a big day in the Middle East. In fact, we are keeping an eye on the podium in Egypt right now, where President Trump is expected to speak any minute. We'll bring you a special report when that happens. Within the last hour, the president meeting with Arab leaders who he says are crucial to ensuring lasting peace in the region. Mr. Trump was in Israel earlier today to watch the first phase of the peace deal play out and urge Israel's parliament to unite now that the war is over.
People are dancing in the streets, not just in Israel. They're dancing in the streets of countries that would have never danced in the street about what's happening today. Together, we've shown that peace is not just a hope that we can dream about. It's a reality we can build upon day by day, person by person, and nation by nation.
But as a giant of Jewish history, one for whom we must look back 2.5 millennia into the mists of time to find a parallel, Cyrus the Great. You, President Donald J. Trump, are a colossus who will be enshrined in the pantheon of history. Thousands of years from now, Mr. President, the Jewish people will remember you. We are a nation that remembers.
Well, I mean, can be like a biblical thing.
I even said that very precisely during my communication with Your Excellency, that you are the only one who is able to bring about peace and to achieve peace in this part.
All the momentum now is toward a great, glorious, and lasting peace, and our commitment to fulfilling the 20-point plan we developed together will be the crucial foundation for achieving that bright future, and it's being worked on right now as we speak, and we're actually in stage 3 and 4. It's not going to be, just divided down so simply. We can be long advanced on some of the things that we say we're going to do. We can take them out of order in a positive way, and we've shown how it can be done with responsible nations like the people in this room, these incredible people in this room, setting aside their differences, seeking common ground, and pursuing a better world for all of us. In that spirit, it's my dream that we all get together and enjoy our life. And we're going to put some of you on the Board of Peace. Everybody wants to be on the Board of Peace. They said, would you be the chairman? I say, I'm pretty busy too. But whatever we can do to have peace in the Middle East, it's worth it. But everybody wants to go on the Board of Peace, so we're probably going to enlarge it. We're going to get, and the leaders, the top people, the top leaders, they want to be on the Board of Peace. A beautiful term. At first I wasn't sure, and then I realized how beautiful it is.
I'm so glad that you're with us of all days. I don't even want to start with a question for you other than, what are you thinking right now?
Oh my gosh, I'm overjoyed. I feel a sense of relief, and I feel a sense of, by the way, immense pride to see the United States and President Trump really be the leader in brokering this deal. That's the role the United States often plays in bringing an end to war. I do believe that this is an end to the war. Might not necessarily mean an end to conflict sometimes, but significant steps, seeing those hostages being released and reunited with their families is just gives me goosebumps.
Remarkable. Well, your energy is contagious. So from here, how do the parties who we just saw celebrating this moment make this a lasting peace? How do you get through the second phase?
Sure. You know, it's I don't want to underestimate the importance of having all of those leaders that we saw standing behind President Trump. And it's not just regional leaders. You had leaders from around the world. You even had the UN Secretary General, who President Trump has attacked numerous times.
That's right.
Everybody coming together for this. And that speaks volumes. But also the fact is that there were a lot of factors here that brought us to this day in a way that none of us could have foreseen.
But right now is a moment where you have so much hope and optimism, and you just hope that they can grab it, both for Israel, for the region, for the Palestinians, and all of these things that have been broken and burst over the last few decades and even perhaps centuries.
Absolutely. And Trey, you had the opportunity to speak with President Trump earlier. This was a big moment in the celebrations today when Benjamin Netanyahu thanked President Trump. This is call for 3, guys, if we have it teed up. Okay, let me just read it to you directly, Trey. Donald Trump is the greatest friend that the state of Israel has ever had in the White House. Mr. President, you are committed to this peace. I am committed to this peace. And together, Mr. President, we will achieve this peace. Give us your thoughts, Trey, after speaking to the president earlier.
Yes, Sandra, I spoke with President Trump earlier today, and what stood out to me is how much he actually cares about the region and the people here. This is the most powerful man in the world, and yet he purposefully delayed his schedule so he could spend more time with the families of hostages and hostages who had been freed in previous deals that he supported. And when you think about what this means, it means that you have a leader who is looking toward the future with an understanding of the realities on the ground. And those realities are that Israel is a population of nearly 10 million people. The Gaza Strip is a population of more than 2 million people. And the president has a vision for a future of the Middle East that would not have all of the violence and war that has ravished the Middle East for the past 2 years, as we've seen inside the Gaza Strip with the death and destruction following a horrific massacre on October 7th. And so this really does feel like a moment of change for the Middle East, an opportunity for countries around the world to come together. And the president, in his remarks at the Israeli Knesset, made that very point. He said from cities and states around the world that people should come together. And he almost alluded at the fact that there are going to be more normalization deals brokered by the Trump administration with countries like Indonesia, for example, or countries like Iraq even, or Syria, possibly Lebanon. He even extended an olive branch to Iran, a country that he targeted with airstrikes over the summer to stop the country from developing its nuclear program and going after a nuclear bomb. The bottom line here is that this president is looking for peace, and he capitalized on this with this meeting in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, bringing together these world leaders that have the money and influence to actually get it done in the region. Because while the president wants to usher in this new chapter, he's made very clear he doesn't want U.S. boots on the ground inside Gaza. He's willing to have CENTCOM forces in an advisory role to ensure that this peace plan moves forward. But this is a regional plan that ultimately could lead to prosperity and stability across the Middle East, something the region has not seen in decades.
President Trump, can you tell us when phase 2 of the negotiations will begin?
Well, it started. I mean, it started as far as we're concerned. Phase 2 has started. And, you know, the phases are all a little bit mixed in with each other. They're going to start cleaning up. You look at Gaza, it needs a lot of cleanup. That's why when I talked in my speech, I talked about the debris. I used the word debris. That's debris times 10. So, but they're gonna really do a job. They have a lot of power. In another room, you have some of the wealthiest nations in the world. All leaders, the big leaders are here. The emirs and the kings and everybody, and it's a very interesting group. I guess we have like 35 countries, and that's only because they were the 35 that we invited. Everybody that we invited came. So there's a lot of respect, and I think you'll see some tremendous progress. I want to express my tremendous gratitude to the Arab and Muslim nations who helped make this incredible breakthrough possible, and you really did. To President El-Sisi of Egypt, who is so generously hosting us today. And I want to thank you for the outstanding job your country is doing in so many different ways and for helping us so much with this peace agreement.
Thank you, Jason A., for an awesome upload. Let's go straight into Tyson De La Cruz. So I got 2 Tyson De La Cruz, and then I'm going to finish off the night with Jason A, because I think the last one should be the most important one. Tyson, he did really good jobs on these 2. But I got to give it to Jason A for tonight, because I'm telling you, I've been feeling this energy of something coming our way. And you guys got to listen to me. I'm telling you. If someone's telling you something's coming, you better pay attention, So with that said, let's go ahead and watch Tyson De La Cruz.
Oklahoma Heartland Heroes Foundation that took donated food, but rather than giving it all away, they let hundreds of boxes of food sit outside, as you see right here, and rot.
America, we need to talk about a story that perfectly illustrates everything wrong with how our government handed out COVID relief money. A man named Victor Colbert just got hit with federal charges for defrauding the government out of over $200,000 in pandemic loans. But here's the kicker. This guy was running a fake charity that let hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of food rot while real families went hungry. And the warning signs were everywhere for years, but nobody was paying attention.
A man who ran a local nonprofit faces federal charges for bank fraud.
It's the Oklahoma Heartland Heroes Foundation.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story is going to make your blood boil because it shows you exactly how people looked at COVID relief programs and said, this is my lottery ticket out of here, while taxpayers got robbed and people who actually needed help got nothing. Let me introduce you to Victor Kensington Colbert Jr. Sounds like a country musician, the man at the center of this fraud. This guy was running something called Oklahoma Heartland Heroes Foundation, supposedly helping feed hungry families. Sounds pretty noble, doesn't it?
That's all we're doing. We're feeding people. That's all we're doing, is trying to feed as many people as we possibly can.
Victor told me about his nonprofit, Oklahoma Heartland Heroes Foundation.
I think that the media and the camera should be on us and our plight. See, we distribute to 3,000 to 4,000 people a week, or we're supposed to be. That's what we want to do.
But here's what Victor was actually doing. He was taking massive amounts of donated food, federal food meant for hungry families, and letting it rot in piles behind churches while he played victim and blamed everyone else for his problems.
I got a tip about a large amount of donated food spoiling behind this building here in North Tulsa. So I came here to check it out.
There's sandwiches in there.
The first thing we saw, this dumpster loaded with rotting sandwiches and apples.
What's up here?
Around the corner, hidden behind a large stack of pallets, I could smell boxes of food and produce.
The audacity of this guy is off the charts. When reporters showed up to investigate hundreds of boxes of rotting food, we're talking about gallons of spoiled milk, rotten produce, meat sitting in the heat. Victor's response was basically, hey, food distribution is hard. Sometimes food goes bad. No, Victor, sometimes food goes bad when you're actually trying to distribute it. When you're letting hundreds of boxes rot while families are hungry, that's not food distribution, hombre. That is fraud. But the rotting food was just the beginning. This guy was running scams all over Oklahoma, and the pattern was always the same. Big promises, take the money, deliver nothing, blame everybody else.
The church planned to give turkeys to needy families for Thanksgiving. Instead, the Colberts took the money and gave the church nothing.
The money itself certainly hurt us in that moment because it was a big gut punch.
Think about this. Churches trying to help families have a good Thanksgiving, and this guy takes their money and gives them nothing. A church in Sand Springs paid him $6,700 for turkeys. The Tulsa Dream Center paid him almost $30,000 for hams and turkeys. None of them got a single turkey.
It just makes me sad. That's all. It's just that there are people out there who would take advantage.
This is the mentality I've been talking about. These people see government programs, see charitable giving, see disaster relief, and think, hey, how can I make this mine? They don't care about the families who actually need help. They don't care about the churches trying to do good work. They see opportunity and they take it. So when COVID hit and the government started throwing money around like the strip club with minimal oversight, what do you think Victor did? He saw his lottery ticket.
The indictment says Victor submitted at least 5 applications on behalf of Heartland Heroes, seeking various CARES Act funds.
5 different applications. This guy was working the system like a full-time job, and the lies he told, absolutely wild. He claimed he had 11 employees for one loan, 14 employees for another, and 21 employees for a third loan, with a monthly payroll of about $60,000. The reality, throughout the entire investigation, reporters only saw Victor and his wife, Penny, and one relative who threw broccoli at news drones. That's it. No employees, no payroll, just lies on top of lies to get the government money. This is exactly what I've been saying about the PPP fraud mindset,
crazy.
the payroll protection program that happened during COVID. These people weren't thinking
Crazy.
small. When they decided to scam the system, they went big. $217,000 in total COVID loans based on completely fabricated employee numbers and payroll expenses. But here's what really gets me fired up. Victor Colbert wasn't some isolated incident. He was part of a massive statewide pattern of COVID relief fraud that cost Oklahoma taxpayers over $93 million.
Oh my God.
Those staff finding the state could be on the hook to repay the federal government upwards of $100 million from just the 2023 fiscal year alone.
Let me break down what happened across Oklahoma. The state auditor found that 2 agencies, the Office of Management and Enterprise Services and the Department of Human Services, blew through $93 million in federal COVID relief money in quote-unquote questionable ways.
The auditor's office finding DHS let a home daycare provider spend that money on things like a kitchen remodel and a brand new Cadillac.
A brand new Cadillac. Kitchen remodels. Meanwhile, the emergency rental assistance program that was supposed to help families stay in their homes during the pandemic, they gave no bid contracts to a nonprofit that spent federal money on flowers, gift cards, and parties at Topgolf and Chicken and Pickle. This is the same mentality as Victor Colbert, just on a bigger scale. People saw COVID relief money and thought, how much could I get away with? While Victor Colbert was letting food rot and lying about employees, while state agencies were buying Cadillacs and throwing parties with federal money, who was getting hurt? Real families who needed help, churches trying to feed people, child care centers that got dependent on government money that should have never received it in the first place.
We've brought you countless stories the past year of childcare centers facing uncertain futures because of this.
Daycares became dependent on government money that they should never have received in the first place.
The Department of Human Services handed out too many 5-star ratings to child care centers, which meant they had to pay them more money. When federal dollars ran out, these centers were left hanging because they'd become so dependent on payments that they were actually never supposed to get. And here's the part that should make every taxpayer furious. The auditor found that if emergency rental assistance program had been run properly instead of being used for parties and administration fees, they could have helped nearly, get this, 8,000 more Oklahoma families with rent. 8,000 families. That's 8,000 families who might not have lost their homes if government officials hadn't been more interested in lining their own pockets than doing their job. And here's what really gets me about the Victor Colbert case. The warning signs were everywhere for years, but nobody was paying attention until it became too late.
We saw piles of food just piling up, and it was smelling so bad around our church that we could not stand outside of our building.
Churches were complaining about the smell. The health department came out and took photos. The fire department had to put out fires because this guy was trying to burn rotten food and milk. There were rats everywhere, holes in the walls, complete destruction of property.
The USDA told me the foundation never contracted with them to receive or deliver any government food.
He was getting food through vendors, but he had no official authorization to be running a food distribution program. Every red flag was there. Complaints from the neighbors, health department visits, fire department calls, property destruction, unpaid bills, and no legitimate contracts. But somehow this guy was able to get over $200,000 in federal COVID loans. This brings us to a bigger problem. Where was the oversight? How does somebody with this track record get approved for multiple federal loans? The state auditor put it perfectly when she said there should have been qualified people who understood the requirements and knew how to properly document expenditures. But instead, thanks to the Biden administration, we had a system that was designed to move money fast with minimal oversight.
When Oklahoma takes money from the federal government, they are 100% responsible to make sure that those funds are spent properly.
And when the federal government comes calling for their money back, which they will, it's going to be Oklahoma taxpayers who foot the bill, not the people who bought Cadillacs and threw parties, not Victor Colbert who let food rot while lying about employees. Regular taxpayers who followed the rules and trusted their government to do the right thing. This is why I keep saying there's no free lunches from the government. Every dollar that gets fraudulently taken is a dollar that comes out of the pockets of honest taxpayers and away from people who actually need help. America, the Victor Colbert case is a perfect example of what happens when government throws money around like a strip club without proper oversight. This guy was already running scams, already letting donated food rot, already stiffed churches and charities. The warning signs were everywhere. But when COVID hit, the government started handing money with minimal questions asked. People like Victor saw their opportunity and they took it. 5 different application loans, fake employee numbers, completely fabricated payroll expenses, over $200,000 in fraudulent loans. And he's not alone. Across Oklahoma, we're talking about $93 million in questionable spending, Cadillacs, kitchen remodels, parties at Topgolf, all paid for with the money that was supposed to help families survive during the pandemic. The good news is that Victor Colbert is finally facing consequences. He's looking at up to 60 years in prison and $2 million in fines. The bad news is that the damage is already done. Food rotted and the families went hungry and the taxpayers got robbed. This is why we need accountability. This is why we need oversight. And this is why we need to remember that when the government promises easy money with no strings attached, somebody always pays the price. And it's usually the people who can least afford it. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
All right, back on Tyson de la Cruz. Let's go.
Harris County Sheriff's Office says they arrested several people at an after-hours bar in Northwest Harris County.
America, we need to talk about what happened in Harris County, Texas this week. Deputies raided what they're calling an after-hours bar. But here's the kicker. This place was never supposed to be open in the first place. We're talking about people who thought they could just set up shop, ignore all the rules, and nobody would notice. But this isn't an isolated incident. This is part of a pattern that shows you exactly what happens when people think they're smarter than the system.
There is a massive deputy presence here from the Harris County Sheriff's Office. There's a bus on site here where we've seen several people zip-tied.
What is up, guys? Tyson de la Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story perfectly illustrates the mentality of people who think rules don't apply to them and what happens when reality comes a-knocking. So picture this. There's this place called True Fuego Lounge on Veterans Memorial Drive in Northwest Harris County. During the day, completely closed. Looks like nothing is happening. But when the sun goes down, this place comes to life.
This is happening at an after-hours bar. This is a live look from where that raid took place.
According to their own Facebook page, they're operating from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's 6 hours every night of what law enforcement is calling a hub for criminal activity. Think about the arrogance here. They were advertising their illegal operations on social media. But here's what really gets me about this whole situation. These people weren't just bending the rules. They were completely ignoring them. The Harris County Fire Marshal's office confirmed that this business was never approved to open its doors. Never, ever, not once. Think about this for a second. Every legitimate business has to go through permits, inspections, compliance checks. It's a pain in the butt, but there's a reason for this. It's called public safety. These people looked at all of that and said, nah, we're good. When law enforcement moved on this place, the scenes were absolutely wild. Videos from early morning hours show dozens of people with their hands against walls, loading up into buses in zip ties.
Take a look at your screen. This is the scene right now. It is clear, but you can see what was left behind from the raid.
The aftermath tells you the entire story. Front windows broken, doors smashed in, glass everywhere. This wasn't a routine inspection. This was law enforcement having to force their way into an illegal operation that thought it was untouchable. But here's what shows you their mentality. They set up in what looks like a shopping center, probably thinking the daytime business would provide a particular cover for this operation. During the day, everything looked normal. At night, it was party time, and they thought they were smart.
I would say there have been at least maybe 36 people that have been zip tied, either sitting in the parking lot right now or have been taken on to this bus.
The sheriff's office isn't calling this an after-hours bar. They're calling it a hub for criminal activity. That tells you everything you need to know about what was really happening inside. This wasn't just people having a few drinks after hours. Now, here's where this story gets really interesting. This wasn't the first time that we've seen this exact same scenario play out in Houston. 3 months ago, we had almost identical raids happening across the city.
New overnight, yet another after-hours club raid in Houston. Just after 3 this morning, HPD shut down La Sierra on South Posto.
La Sierra, the same story here, operating illegally after hours, arrested for drug possession, selling alcohol without permits, outstanding warrants. It's like these people all read from the same playbook. But the most revealing raid happened in a place called Underground Storage in East Little York. When you hear what the assistant chief found here, you'll understand why law enforcement is taking this so seriously.
This is cocaine, okay? And this is widely found in the clubs within Houston where dealers come in and they sell it to the public.
Cocaine dealing right out in the open. But here's what really shows you the danger these places represent.
There was an HPD sergeant who was involved in a crash with a DWI individual. He left this establishment about 5:30 in the morning and crashed into an on-duty Houston Police Department sergeant.
So we have illegal clubs operating without permits, serving alcohol after legal hours, dealing drugs, and sending drunk drivers out onto our streets where they're crashing into police officers. This is the real world consequences of the nobody will notice mentality. But it gets worse. When investigators got inside Underground Storage, they found what Captain Watson called a death trap.
The inside of this building, it is a death trap. It is not does not have a certificate of occupancy, which means it has not been inspected for fire safety.
No certificate of occupancy, no fire escape doors, substandard electrical work, nothing up to code, and it was packed full of people when law enforcement arrived.
There is no fire escape door on this building, and it was packed full of people when we went in. If a fire happened in there, this would make the international news because nobody would be able to get out of it.
The captain made this comparison to the Rhode Island nightclub fire where hundreds of people died. He said if a fire would have happened at the Underground Storage, it would have made international news because nobody would have been able to escape. Think about this. People were paying money to party in a building that was literally a death trap, run by people who cared so little about safety, they didn't even bother with basic fire codes or emergency exits. What I want you to understand is the mentality here. These people thought that they were absolutely smart, genius, Einstein level. They probably figured, hey, we're only open at night. We're in industrial areas. Nobody's going to notice. They were advertising on Facebook. They had posted hours. They were operating like a legitimate business with completely ignoring every single legal requirement. No construction permits, no compliance certifications, no approval from the county. They just decided that they were going to run nightclubs and hope nobody cared.
I'm going to say one thing to the club owners across the city. The next knock you get on the door, it will not be a customer. It will be a Houston police officer.
But here's what really shows you their true arrogance. When ABC 13 tried to get a comment from the shopping center manager where True Fuego was operating, they simply just hung up the phone. That's not a response of people who had no idea what was happening on their property. The good news is that law enforcement isn't playing any games anymore. These raids involved multiple agencies working together. We're talking about Houston Police, Harris County Sheriff's Office, Houston Fire Department, Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission, and other city departments.
We seized cases upon cases of alcoholic beverage that is not permitted, taxed, or allowed to be sold for consumption on premises. We found, Chief showed you a small portion of the narcotics that we found, the cocaine, found lots of other cocaine. Locations like this are, sometimes they're dealing from behind the counter, sometimes it's customers coming in to sell to the patrons.
Cases upon cases of illegal alcohol, cocaine, and other narcotics, multiple arrests for selling alcohol after hours, drug possession and outstanding warrants, DWI investigations for people leaving the establishments. The pattern is clear across these raids. These aren't just people having a few drinks after hours. These are criminal enterprises operating under the cover of nightlife, putting everybody at risk. Now, a few days after the True Fuego raid, we've got people coming up to pick their cars in front of the facility that's been boarded up. There's a violation notice from the county on the door saying the party is no mas. This is a pattern that we see over and over again. People think that they can operate in the shadows. They think if they keep a low profile during the day, they can do whatever they want at night. They forget that this is 2025. Everything is connected. Social media posts, financial transactions, neighborhood complaints, police reports. It all leaves a trail. And you can't run illegal operations and expect nobody to notice forever. The white charter buses parked outside these clubs during these raids are a symbol of something much, much bigger. The return of serious law enforcement. No more looking the other way. No more treating illegal operations like minor infractions. These cases show you everything about the mentality of people who think that rules don't apply to them. They see legitimate businesses jumping through hoops to get permits and approvals and think, why should I even bother with all that? Well, this is why. Because when you ignore the system completely, when you operate outside the law, eventually the law comes a knocking. America, these after-hour club raids show you exactly what happens when people think that they're smarter than the system. From True Fuego to underground storage to La Sierra, the pattern is identical. Ignore all regulations, operate illegally, put people in danger, and hope that nobody notices. The scenes we're seeing at these raids might look dramatic because they are, but they're also necessary. Every person being arrested had the opportunity to operate legally. They chose to break rules instead. People and protesters and advocates can complain all they want, but the community spoke loud and clear through their complaints to law enforcement. People are tired of illegal operations in their neighborhood. They're tired of drunk drivers leaving these clubs and crashing into police officers. They're tired of drug dealing and violence. This is just the beginning. Law enforcement has made it clear that the days of operating illegal nightclubs are over. No mas. The next knock at the door won't be a customer. It'll be a police officer with the warrant. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Oh, no idea. I see the Cruz. Great upload. But we're gonna get to the last one of the night, and thank you for whoever's watching. Appreciate it. But we're getting to the last video of the night, and it's gonna go straight to Jason A. Let me go ahead and set it up. Let's watch and enjoy.
Well, nuke it or just let it be. That's what scientists are considering as an asteroid previously known as the City Killer due to its potential to smash into the Earth has now changed course.
Yeah, now the moon is believed to be in its crosshairs. Chief Transportation Correspondent and pilot May Beeler has this incredible story. May, what's the latest?
Never a dull moment.
Yeah.
Here we go. So according to new predictions, the asteroid, officially known as 2024 YR4, has seen its probability of hitting Earth take a nosedive, while the chance of hitting the moon skyrockets.
A team of scientists are trying to figure out what to do about an asteroid that's on a collision course with the moon.
Okay, see that tiny dot? It's known as 2024 YR4. It has a 4% chance of hitting the moon in 2032. Mark your calendar. But in a new paper, researchers are considering whether it might be best to blow it up with a nuclear explosion. Okay, a NASA official tells NBC News they aren't planning to mess with the asteroid right now, but the agency is going to keep an eye on it and keep studying its path.
It's not a Hollywood movie. It's an actual proposal and a study submitted for peer review by scientists, including some from NASA. They say it may be needed to protect astronauts at the International Space Station from debris in the aftermath of a potential impact with the moon. The asteroid has a 4% chance of hitting the moon and a 0.00081% chance of striking Earth. Still, researchers argue nuking the asteroid is the best option given the relatively short time frame and the unknowns, including the asteroid's composition and size. Scientists estimate it could be up to 2 billion pounds.
According to reports, researchers state that a possible lunar impact with the asteroid could increase the amount of debris around the Earth up to 1,000 times normal levels. Ooh, all that space junk could potentially, threaten astronauts, space stations, and spacecraft. And according to NASA and a research paper by a group of scientists, intervention strategies are now under consideration. The most extreme, blasting the space rock with a nuclear device, smashing it to smithereens, or destroy the 220-foot across diameter rock by smashing it with a spacecraft, or at least knocking it off course, or do nothing, with nature taking its course and the rock leaving a massive crater on the lunar surface.
Oh boy, this sounds like the plot of a movie. It was almost. They didn't have the moon in that one. So when we talk about a timetable here, NASA and Artemis, they're planning future manned space flights. So is that an issue at all?
Well, it just depends on the timetable of that. This is later on. So right now, the latest predictions suggest the asteroid may hit the moon on December 22nd, 2032. It has a 4% chance of colliding with it. So calculations now show the space rock, once thought to hit Earth, poses no significant threat to our planet in 2032 or beyond.
Okay, so when was the last time an asteroid actually hit Earth?
Okay, so this was in the Soviet Union, actually. It was February 15th, 2013. In Russia, a 65-foot asteroid exploded in the atmosphere, injured 1,500 people with its shockwave, and that was equal to 500 kilotons of TNT, dropped meteorites, destroying buildings. Now, the last major impact, all right, how good are you at history? 66 million years ago, the last major impact led to the extinction of the dinosaurs.
All right, 2032. We'll be checking back with you between now and then. Okay, a couple times a year.
I'll stay on top of it. The man in the moon needs to be worried, perhaps.
If you were successfully to nudge it, can you then measure how much it nudged? It was successful, it got nudged, it was like, yes, put tick in that box so that we know how to nudge an asteroid. Now, if there's one with our name on it that could put our lives at risk, we'd like to know that we're in a position to do something about it.
So very quickly, we saw this one. What about the ones we're not seeing?
Well, so fortunately, the ones that will do the most damage are the biggest, and those are the easiest to detect. So the smaller ones, they'll come and hit, and you've got to watch out for those. Well, you can't watch out for them. If we know well in advance, you can actually clear out an area if we know exactly where it's going to hit.
There's only about a 4% chance of that, but if it does, that collision would have quite the impact.
That is coming in faster than a speeding bullet. If you blast out a hole that's a kilometer across, you're looking at millions of tons of material.
Here on Earth, we're likely to only see a spectacular meteor shower, but all that moon rock could have a huge impact on our growing satellite system, disrupting communication and navigation networks, as well as our ability to forecast the weather.
Space has done so much for humanity and society, and it will continue to do that. However, just like any other system, we need to have sufficient backups.
Because a rare asteroid moon crash isn't the only potential threat. Solar storms, satellite-on-satellite collisions, or a military attack can take out vital space infrastructure too.
If we get too reliant on space, and if we have other opportunities to do things, but we say, you know what, if we could do it from space, let's just do it from space, then we are setting ourselves up to be actually vulnerable to a wide range of issues.
This particular threat won't be visible to us again until 2028, when scientists believe they'll be able to determine whether a direct hit to the moon will occur. Until then, experts say even the small possibility of such a wide-scale satellite disruption should serve as a wake-up call.
We examine how 3I Atlas arriving from deep space on a hyperbolic trajectory at interstellar speeds exposes critical weaknesses in humanity's asteroid deflection strategies, from late detection and strange movements to outdated technology and slow global response. Most deflection systems are designed for objects whose orbits can be mapped years in advance. But it is arriving from deep space on a hyperbolic trajectory, making its path harder to model and respond to in time. Traditional asteroid deflection techniques, like kinetic impactors, rely on early detection and gradual course correction. But it is moving at interstellar speeds, giving humanity far less time to mount a defense. Like Oumuamua, it was detected only after it entered the solar system. This short warning time is a critical weakness. By the time we spot such objects, our defensive options shrink dramatically. Deflection plans assume certain mass, density, and structural properties, but it may have a non-standard composition, possibly porous or metallic, making it harder to predict how it would react to impacts or nuclear pushes. Early tracking suggests that it might display unusual acceleration patterns, similar to Oumuamua. If the object is propelled by unknown mechanisms or volatile activity, standard trajectory models may fail. Missions like DART are designed for near-Earth asteroids with known orbits, not fast-moving cosmic visitors from other star systems. A 3I Atlas-type object exposes the technological gap in our preparedness. Even if the threat was identified, current international coordination frameworks are slow to mobilize. An object like it, with weeks or months of lead time at best, would demand rapid, united action, which doesn't yet exist. It is more than just a passing interstellar visitor. It's a real-world stress test for planetary defense strategies. If a similar object were on a collision course, current deflection methods might not be fast or precise enough, forcing agencies to rethink how to handle interstellar threats.
Jason A., thank you for a great upload to end the night. I am tired. I am very, very tired. You guys have a good night. It's just been a long day for me with the chiropractor, tomorrow morning with the physical therapy, and I just got a really busy week ahead of me. So cross your fingers, and I'll cross mine too. I hope everything goes well. Hope everyone has a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. And I'll catch you all on the flip side. And we'll do this again tomorrow. See how I feel. I'm probably going to feel like more shit. But we'll see. We'll put me to the test. I'm like, damn, let's see how Rick is feeling today. Rick, how you feeling? Like shit. Ha ha ha. Good night. Peace.